Now you're locked in with me.
Really?
Yeah,
Welcome to my world.
This is where we get murdered, John.
Yeah. Now you're in it. Yeah.
It's like Saw and all the lights go off. And wake up with like a mask
Oh
on.
my god.
Sorry, that was
Oh,
That was took a dark turn. Shit.
yeah. That was a cold open of
Yeah,
cold
Cold
opens.
open. Shit.
Oh, how are you though?
Yeah.
Scratch record, guys.
Chill, man. Yeah, doing well.
How's
doing
it
well.
going?
We're finally recovered from the Are You Indie night.
Oh my
Last time we
god.
saw you.
Yeah, and the first time we
That
actually
was
met
the
each
first
other as
time.
well.
Mate,
And,
you've confused the shit out of me now on what you actually look like.
Because this is kind of how I pictured you.
Yeah.
When on your
Right.
Instagram, it's kind of more like how you looked, and then met you the other night, and you had this long hair.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, I wasn't expecting to have that. And then he opens the fucking door. He's got short hair again.
Oh,
I'm
he is
convinced
gone.
It's just
Yeah.
like different people. that
Innit?
meet
Every time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad we've addressed this at the start because people tuning in are probably like, so who's that guy?
sure
Who's the
he had
third guy?
hair,
Like,
man.
what's going on? But yeah,
It's wild.
yeah, a little DIY haircut going on just
It
to.
sounds
Well, my mum did it, so
Wow.
that's still kind of. It was done in the house, so I guess that counts, doesn't it? But
Yeah,
I've been.
I think so.
No, it's definitely a deal.
But yeah, I went back to the Gary today. No one recognised me.
Yeah,
It was like, oh,
yeah.
gone. Everyone's been a bit like, what the fuck? What happened after like 2 years?
What
But yeah,
prompted that?
my mum said, "Do you want a haircut?" And I said, "Yeah, okay." it was a
An
pretty,
impulsive man.
yeah, it was a
Yeah,
pretty
bro.
simple transaction. Plus, as well, I thought I got some good reactions off of you, so I thought I'd just double cross just to really lean into it. I was
I
like,
feel so manipulated already. It's unbelievable.
I was like, oh, that'll fill the first 1 to 2 minutes of the podcast, and then we can transition into some other stuff about like your guys' podcast, for example,
Yeah.
the #1 music podcast, as I read on the flyer.
The
It
number
is.
one
It
Yeah.
is the
podcast.
number one for
Sorry,
new
man.
bands. It just is.
Yeah.
You got to sell it to someone, ain't you? Someone's got to say it.
Well,
till it
true.
comes true.
Well, I quite like that Logan Paul does it on his podcast, and he's always opened it with "Welcome back to the #1 podcast in the world," and it never has been close. But
Nowhere
I
near.
quite
Does
like
he
that.
have a podcast? I didn't know he had
Yeah,
one.
it
Oh
is.
my
It's a big
god,
It's
podcast,
pretty
to be fair.
good.
It is
you know.
decent.
It is.
is it?
Well, it was kind of shit, and no one listened to it, which is why it was funny. And now it is getting closer to being the #1 podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is quite a good podcast. But I think we're running with that kind of mentality, like. The more we say the #1
Yeah.
podcast, and
We've got to get that soon,
innit?
man.
So.
I want that next. That's well, maybe not next, but like within the goal of like probably this year, I want to hit that #1 spot in music.
Music commentary to Slovakia.
No. I don't think we've been far off in Slovakia,
Well,
to be fair.
Yeah.
But
Are you
no, like,
popular in Slovakia? Is that a thing?
What are
Oh,
we in at the minute? Turkey,
Shout out to Turkey, Slovakia, and Brazil.
Brazil, and UAE.
The UAE.
UAE
big
for
in
a
the
bit,
UAE.
yeah.
oh my god.
Hungary, we had a spike in Hungary
yeah.
for a time.
There's a couple of countries in Eastern Europe that if we go to, it'll be like the Beatles.
God, you'll be
Like, there will be fucking
Oh,
crowds
God.
everywhere. It's outrageous, honestly. Yeah, no, it turns out
that's
those countries
wild.
don't listen to loads of podcasts. So.
Yeah, so like
If,
3 people.
do. We're like #1. And we're like, yeah.
Come on, top 10
Yeah,
God.
it's
in
funny.
Brazil.
That's wild though. Mine's the opposite. It's like Northampton, then it drops off hard. It's
Yeah.
like just it.
I-
Nowhere
I
else.
think it helps us because we have a lot of guests from everywhere.
Mm.
Like especially that last series. Like we hit a few in the charts in the UK in the first series. I think the Sarpa one did bits for us, and the Motive one did bits for us quickly, because they were just kind of easy to do, knock it out, and they were. I think that had a massive help with the local push, but then also they had their own fans, which helped the scenario.
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
So like when we start going into doing bands from across the country, when you got like the Reels, Crawlers that we've done that have been like some of our bigger ones, they've got a real diehard fan base at the minute because they're in that
Right.
midpoint.
Okay. Yeah.
So like all of their fans want to listen. So like their Discord will be talking about it, or like their group chats will be talking about it because their fans are like
okay.
this diehard fans.
Yeah, it's kind of a
Committee
weird
guys.
game. Like, you can have more or less popular bands, but it's more about what their fan base actually want. And like, there's a lot of bands out there that people love their music, but they don't actually care about what they've got to say. Whereas actually finding those ones,
Yeah.
someone's following those bands that you can tell have more personality,
Yeah.
and they naturally then their fans are drawn more to who they are as well
Yeah,
as their
for
music.
sure.
And then when we interview them, people care, and it's kind of like working that route out has done really well for us actually.
Yeah, and I enjoy that, trying to find that science. Trying to find
The
there is a
podcast science.
There is a science to it, to be able to find like, right, these are gonna do well on like a wow factor of like sick they're on. But like we had Sam Shiner on, who was another one that did really well for us. and she did really well because she's got a big Twitter following and quite a big influence on Twitter. So we knew that was also going to have, and also like it's good because we've had lots of communications with her throughout our time on social media with the podcast. So it's quite nice to be able to amalgamate the two and be like, this is going to do really well for us and yourself, but also we're going to get a chat from someone who does a podcast that she interviews. It's almost like this sort of scenario where like you've got a podcast and we've got a podcast, but it's like, I guess we're in the opposite seat to what we're normally in.
Flips it on you.
Yeah.
No,
yeah. I like this bit though. This seat's nice.
What, these garden chairs?
Yeah.
They've worked out well. It's a very rustic one. It got upgraded and then it got downgraded because we did at one point had a lot of stuff on the walls, but they fell off midway through one. So I thought maybe not bother putting stuff up again. I'll just keep it simple, strip it back, go with it.
Ladder. I like the ladder as a feature.
Yeah. Well, if we ever have a big group in, someone can sit on the ladder and then that can fill out the space, I think. That would be the plan for that one.
Yeah. Angling a mic up there will be a pain in the tits, wouldn't it?
Well, we can hang it from the rafters, you know.
Problems, not solutions.
They could hold it down like they're in a WWE wrestling match and like referee it, you know what I mean? Yeah, so it's all good. But yeah, what's your setup like at the moment? Because you've been doing a lot of like Zoom podcasts recently.
Yeah.
So I remember when you first started, you came hard out the gates with like setup and everything. I was like, oh, I'm fucked. Never mind.
So the setup's chilled now. Like to be honest, since we last did one in person, the only thing we've changed is I've had the big cigarette packet painted on the wall. So I've had our like little cigarette packet logo painted like 4 foot by 3 foot.
Nice.
On the wall, which is class. So I'm not sure what shot it's gonna get in.
No,
well, you know, it's just
cool
there as it's nice. It's
like,
something for people to see when they come in.
And maybe a few more LEDs.
Yeah.
And now a door that shuts.
You're starting the story at the
door
end,
that shuts.
True.
So we originally started on Zoom anyway when we first came out the gate because we were living in different cities, and then in Elliot's garage, it's a bit like this, but it's almost because it's
cleaner,
almost like an outhouse. It's got like almost like if the conservatory was an actual room.
Oh, okay.
But all separate from the house. So then the actual room bit we converted into a proper studio. So we proper DIY'd it. Then last summer we like made the like big like sound boards.
Yeah, mate, we've got a load of acoustic paneling in there that we made because do you know how much acoustic paneling is?
I dread to imagine. I'm too scared to look.
Fucking stupid. We quoted our room of what we needed and it was going to cost us about 1,300 quid to acoustic panel it.
Which is why like kind of this is ideal because it's full of stuff. You don't really need it as much as you would.
Dampens the sound.
Yeah.
We had this empty room and it was like you'd walk into it and it would echo.
Oh my god.
So we had to build all these panels. You sorted your desk out, painted it down, got that put in. You already had a lot of the equipment. And then we got set up in there, which was sick for that time. And then we did the whole of last series because of lockdown. We did virtually. So we just had our mics. You sat in there, I sat in my room, and we've just done them on Zoom, which was an experience. Harder, but it was all right. And then back in the studio now, hopefully.
We're trying to get some more in person. We've already done some. We've been kind of doing like a travelling circus, I feel like, sometimes.
Right.
With some of the ones we recorded recently. Because we went up to Birmingham. I don't know when this will be out. You might have seen stuff. But we had 2 people on in Birmingham. But we had to do it in like fucking an apartment that we rented. So we've got this fucking setup, and Joe comes in, and like, we've spent like, we were hungover, so we got up at like 8 o'clock, half 8, and then like didn't talk to each other and just started setting up this room, and like we just not like
we
moving
had like
furniture.
4 other mates there as well. We were just like, get out,
leave us alone. You got to fuck off and get breakfast or something, we'll sort this shithole out. So we were like moving, completely rearranged this apartment. And like set up filming like lights, the camera.
It was like an Airbnb or something, or like.
We weren't allowed an Airbnb.
It was a shout out to I can't remember the brand now. Stay City.
Stay City
okay.
Hotel. So it's like a travel lodge if a travel lodge had a lounge. So it's like 2 rooms, 2 bathrooms, and then it also has like a lounge area. So that's all we needed was like just a room.
Right.
And then we brought all our shit up, and then just had a sofa and 2 sofas, a couple of there's
2 sofas,
2 like sofa beds that we're sleeping on, and then we just like angled them and did that. And to be fair, because You don't want to get Airbnb sponsorship anytime soon, are you?
Fuck them.
No, I doubt it.
They would not let us book an Airbnb.
We did try and book it
What,
on.
because of the podcast, or
No, so
Just-
apparently...
had you done something? Do you have a history with Airbnbs?
I wish I did. It'd be a cooler story, man.
Yeah.
I don't have
True.
a cool story like that. We've
it's...
been blacklisted for some reason.
Apparently, anyone who's under the age of... You need to be over the age of 25 and
Right.
have at least 3 5-star ratings on Airbnb to book out like full apartments in cities now. And we've tried... And apparently it's like a thing, because I know other people have tried it in other places. And you literally have to be over 25 to book one.
So
And we were
fucked
like, because we can get any... We tried
Nothing.
everyone.
We tried like some of these apartments we were trying were going to cost us like fucking 600.
I mean, this was
for,
during
like,
the
2
Euros,
nights.
so I don't know if it's just like a Euros thing, because they were so worried about big like parties and stuff for it. So it might be more okay now, but yeah, we struggled. So that's why we had to go for this like Airbnb deemed it a hotel, which meant we could book it even though it had a lounge, so it was kind of cool.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't even know how we got into that. So you tell me the story.
Yeah, no, I was just saying how you said that it was kind of a botched setup to this Alex arm. It was like, it's this botched setup, and he came in and was like, "What the fuck do you mean botched setup? Because we've got 2 fuck off filming lights, like fucking 3 DSLRs, a cameraman that's got his headphones on, that's like they're trying to like tune everything up and that, and then I'm sat there like go over the mic, make sure all the mics are connected, get everything sorted, and then he came in and he was like, "You just sold me a dream. I thought I was going to come into like literally like a single microphone, no cameras that were going to sit in between and be like just chatting to one microphone."
Yeah, it was funny, man.
That was funny. That was a good trip. But we're going to be doing more shit like that, I think, than using our
Fair enough.
like our actual studio at home.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, with pandemic ending, it's kind of like I feel like everyone's a bit like, let's go somewhere. So it's, I don't blame you from that. You said earlier you're from different cities. So are you not Northampton lads, or
No,
are you
we were in different cities because he was at uni in Leeds.
So
this was like at the end of the pandemic. You were at uni in Leeds, but
in Leeds,
I was at uni in Manchester. But then I came home during the pandemic, but Elliot didn't.
I stayed up there with my girlfriend and I got made a little like setup in my room. It was kind of there. It just seemed silly to kind of move everything down to.
Yeah.
And I had my house because my girlfriend's from Manchester, so it made sense that we stayed in one place. Because obviously I live down here, she lives up there. Made sense that we stayed in like one place for that like whole first lockdown, I guess, until our term ended. And then when the term ended, that's when we kind of like mixed it up a bit.
And now his term ended, so we came back, we built a studio in Wellingborough we can both use. Then it was lockdown, so we've hardly been able to use it. Now he's going back to uni in Leeds.
Oh
so
my God.
There's now no need for the studio at all. So,
I'm doing a master's.
So you got a lot of use out of it, clearly, or that.
I got shitloads of use out of it, like because
You
I
do
did
all
all the
work in
Zoom.
there,
I do everything for the podcast up there, so I've got like a few monitors and shit that I use, and like a full computer type setup thing.
Sits and plays Warzone on it.
Sits and plays Warzone up there, and essentially I spend hours up there just either playing on the Xbox or sitting trying to edit some form of Photoshop thing and make it, I don't know, look less shit. I mean, try and make stuff we're producing look less wank.
Fair enough. So, how did it come about then, the podcast, for you guys? Was it something, because if you're at uni in Leeds, you're in Manchester, what was the... Let's come back to let's start one, and then also we'll come back to Northampton. Let's do an indie music podcast.
So I think we both went to school together, and we've been mates for years now. Must be like 12 years or something stupid now. And I've always been interested in making stuff and doing random like weird things that I kind of want to produce and kind of. We've always mentioned stuff about either setting up like video series or setting up, doing some form of like vlog or something like that.
We were always that group that would like we'd all be sat in a lesson, and we'd all get distracted because someone would be like, you'd be bad for someone would be like, let's buy a dirt bike.
Oh my God,
yeah. Let's buy, them swans that you paddle on. Let's buy 2 of them.
Yeah, we're gonna try and go to we're gonna see how far we could get down the Nen. And see where we could get to on pedlos, but they're expensive,
Really expensive.
Are they actually?
Yeah, like 1,100 quid.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like they don't sell them second hand very often.
Jesus.
That would always be us, but would never actually do any of it. Like it would always be like, that'd be fun, and then we check, they're really expensive, or whatever, we move on, and we talk about the next thing. And I think this doing a podcast had been something that had been genuinely spoken about for a long time.
Yeah, it had been mentioned quite a bit because we've both been really into like finding new bands. It's always something that we were into doing. We're always like shooting a message across and be like, have you heard this band that's from fucking Scunthorpe that does like, I don't know, like rap and like indie music, like a prog rock, do you know what I mean? And they've got like 10 monthly listeners, and we'll always bounce that off each other. And I think I did like a radio show at uni and tried to start a podcast at uni during my second year, and that kind of all fell through. So I think it kind of, I'd spent the money on the fucking equipment to start with, so I was like,
might as well keep
this
on
idea that we've had for ages, let's fucking do it. Let's actually make it a thing, and let's not hold no punches. Let's do everything we can to try and, I don't know, throw shit out there.
Yeah, well, I think it was like, finally, I was like, it's about time now, after however many years, that one of these ideas that we've come up with,
one of them has to work.
Actually do it. And whether we, so then I think when lockdown came about, even though we're in different places from that, it was like, neither of us were doing fucking it. Like, we handed our dissertations in, and then it was like, right, we are genuinely now not doing anything.
My Warzone was like my full-time job. I was doing like 10 hours a day on Warzone.
Oh, legitimately, was getting up at like 12, having some food, and then jump by like 3 o'clock. Like most people we knew were on the Xbox, because it was what everyone was doing because it was all we could do.
Yeah.
And it would genuinely be on there sometimes from 3 till 3.
Yeah.
Because there was just like fuck all else, and we were like, right, we need to do something that's more productive, and why don't we do one of these ideas that we've had? So then we just started spitballing names and logos and what we'd want to do, what we wanted to talk about, and then eventually actually just bashed a couple out.
Yeah, slapped it out and just kind of continued to make them when I then came back while we were getting the studio ready. And then as soon as the studio was ready and we moved up there to like the sofa and like the mic setup that we then put into there, because we did a couple on a desk that I'd set up in my room,
right?
And it was like this most clustered fucking
one of
space.
our most popular episodes, about Liam Gallagher joining Kasabian, and Kasabian broke up. And we were like, there was a rumour that Liam Gallagher was going to do some shows
front
with
man,
him,
wasn't he?
So we played on that a little bit and just spoke about it for like half an hour, and it's still one of our most popular episodes, and it was literally like half the size of this, full of all the equipment on it, and we were like opposite each other like that, bent over like one mic, and recorded a podcast on that, and it was a bit more botched, wasn't it?
Was that the same as the music conspiracy theories episode, or was that a separate one?
That was a separate one. That was a mini-series that we had. I think this is like where the podcast has gone now. It was very different to how I had it
Someone would think we were podcasters.
Envisaged? Is that a word?
Envisaged?
Envisioned?
I think it's envisaged.
You know what I mean?
Saw it.
Because I think I almost had it like more like a music news podcast, and then like reviews and stuff, and more like we'd be what's going on in the scene, and we'd almost like how like Keemstar does drama, but
let's get back
into the news.
Like, what beef's going on? What bands are doing this? Who's got on number one? Like almost more like news and stories and discussions. And I think the interviewing thing was something that came kind of later. I think we always had it in theory for like local bands.
Yeah,
right.
Because we wanted to get guests in, but I think it wasn't. It kind of is how it went in that series 2. We went into interviews because that's all we did, and now I think that's when it's quite fun that we know we can do both. But yeah, right back at the start, then I kind of thought it'd be more like the first couple were more. Did we think Oasis were going to get back together, and conspiracy theories and like decade debates and that sort of stuff, and that was kind of what I had pictured.
Yeah, they were kind of where we kind of like started with almost make a topic up out of not a lot and talk about it and become almost like music entertainment. And I think that's why a lot of our stuff is where we're kind of pigeonholed into on like the chart stuff is music commentary. So essentially that's where a lot of we kind of like see it as, and even our interviews, I think we take what we did in them ones of making a topic out of fuck all to then bring it to the interviews and go off on these fucking wild tangents of like, I don't know, didn't we talk to fucking Low Girl about Mario Kart for like 45 minutes? But it's like, you know, it's just being able to like turn. I think that's why I enjoy the interviews so much now, is just being able to use what we'd learned in them first few ones, then bounce through into something else.
Yeah. That's interesting you want it to be just you though.
Well, it wasn't necessarily like just us, because like we always had ideas of guests coming on, but instead of it being an interview, being a guest,
it's more just like chatting shit. Yeah,
just
I think
like
that's the best way though, because it's like sometimes when it feels like an actual interview, it does get a bit like, okay.
I fucking hate them.
Yeah,
It
I
was
figured out their
either-
mentality. It's like, okay, move on.
Key premise to it was, especially I always thought about it in football and wanted to do something about it and never have, and it's the same in music, is that music media is shit. Like, I care a lot about music, but I don't follow any news outlets, anyone who talks about it, or any people who do interviews, because it's all really fucking boring, and people just asking the same stuff very deadpan. And we just had this thing of like, we will have these episodes just us, so we chat shit, and then we will. It was always that concept to bring that into speaking to people, and especially up and coming artists. Yeah. Because people, when they get interviewed, it is literally like, oh, they have no idea they fucking are. Even with like people introducing and stuff, even when they can't know that, it's still like,
they have nothing, man.
Hi guys, you alright? Oh yeah, we good. Yeah, new song's good. Yeah, cheers guys. Yeah, what's the inspiration behind that? Okay, yeah, we run out of time, and like there's a place, there's a time and a place for that. It's fine. It's what a lot of radios like, what interviews are like, but it's just not what I want. Yeah. So we always had the idea of trying to do what we would want to listen to. What would we want Saab to talk about? As fans of them, we'll just we'll do that and try and
fighting Kanye West.
Because man, but like it's wasted. Like someone like Marcus in the local scene is like he's a funny guy. He's got a lot to say. So like,
oh, it's hilarious.
Why is there not more of him around? I was like, so that's why we came in. Let's have an hour, 2 hours, and like.
And that's cool with the local bands as well. It's like not just Marcus, but there's so many fucking interesting characters across the whole thing. It's just like. In a weird way, sometimes just the music doesn't do it justice. Like you think about it, and I mean, to be fair, with Sarpa, Meg has a podcast as well, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. For You'll Find Out one.
Yeah. Because I remember we were talking to her about it as well. But I think because when we did our podcast, it was only Marcus and George that were available.
Yeah, so they could have been proper met for like any period of time. We met her after a social distance gig they did last year, so we only met briefly, but she did mention it and said
what, from across the hallway
social
miles away.
Gigs are the strangest things I think I've ever been.
I never went to one, but I'm kind of like, now it's not happening anymore. I'm like, did I miss out? No. Okay, good. Never mind then.
You know, like talent shows at school where you were sat in like tiered seating, all spaced away from each other, and you felt like a prick for talking or on your phone or something. It just felt just like that. Just
really?
Like, yeah, just like.
Don't get me wrong, like
they were like the music great.
It's not like criticism of everyone, because everyone set it up great. It felt really safe, and you could have a drink and watch live music during a pandemic. It's an amazing achievement, but never again.
I wouldn't go rushing back to go see see a band that I really enjoy their music and I really want to bounce off their energy, but have to sit down. I really do like that, but I can kind of see it happening.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think we'll go back?
October time. It's my guess. Sadly.
Yeah. I have some level of hope, but it's because I have some investment in it not locking down, so I'm like maybe just holding off blind face. But a lot of people I've talked to have been a bit like, no, we think it's going to go back. But
I really hope it doesn't. But I think just because of the sheer... I just have such pessimistic energy towards Tories, like in that sense. Like I have that whole like the Tory government at the minute. I have such pessimistic energy towards of how they've kind of everything seems to be so half-hearted and money orientated. So I can see this being very similar to the Eat Out to Help Out scheme, of being like, we're never going to lock anyone down again, and it's like, but we're not going to lock them down, but we are going to take everything you want to do away from you again.
Yeah.
I can kind of see that happening. I think Chile, just because of what's happened over the last few...
And to be honest, I think I can almost see it. I don't think, even if we're not locked down again, I think with the way that they're kind of functioning at the moment, in that everyone go out, but if you go anywhere near this virus, you have to isolate for 10 days, 2 weeks, however long it is, without using testing stuff. I saw Easy Life just had to postpone like 6 of their gigs because one of the band members and 2 of their like staff, crew, that's the word, have got it. So now that's 6 of their shows gone. And I think when it goes into the winter and it gets even worse, I don't think it'll be locked down, but I just think people physically will really struggle to put them on because of how many staff members and band members are going to be like isolating, and then people actually being able to go. It's going to be another thing. It'll be like every time you'll have 10 days isolation, you'll come back out and it'll be like ping again, and it'll be like...
Did you guys get pinged in the last thing? Because wasn't there like a massive
Pingate or whatever.
Yeah, whatever they called it, whatever they wanted.
They're saying there's a massive conspiracy saying that like government have pinged off a load of people's phones.
Yeah,
like, just to kind of.
It was like a last weekend or something. It was like 500,000 people in a day just got pinged.
They knew it was all open. I think like the thought behind it. I don't subscribe to this conspiracy really.
So wait, is it conspiracy? Did it not even happen?
Well, no. So like obviously it happened. It happened, and I think it was 2 million in the space of a day that got pinged across the country. Whether that is just sheerly because of statistics of people going out, but I think there was also like the whole thought behind it was they just pinged random people's phones sheerly because of like a certain age group, sheerly because they knew they were going to be near someone who would have been out at that point.
Oh, so the conspiracy is just
so it's like the conspiracy is that the government caused it.
But just to be like
stats,
yeah.
Which
I don't believe that.
I don't believe that.
I do believe that.
I don't think they'd have the brain power to put that together, or the energy.
Right. Yeah, I do think you're right. Actually, Matt Hancock and Boris Johnson and all that lot have got a lot on their plates at the moment. I think so. Everyone
clearly
to peek their our into stuff. There's so much political nonsense around the government at the minute.
Yeah,
political nonsense. I sound like a fucking prick. I sound like such a wanker.
That's neither. That's the point of the podcast. We know nothing about nothing, and we just go into it like we know, and we just sort of. Help the whole misinformation thing even more by just spreading our bullshit attitudes into the world.
I think lots of people can see from the outside, like, there's a lot of shit going on around it. Like, I feel like there's, like, so much, like, almost like a drama. Yeah. There's a lot of drama, like, Cummins is putting his fucking oar in again, and everyone's just coming in, and they're all just, like, petty, like, going at each other's back and trying at each other, and it's like, oh, let's set a camera up to get Matt Hancock.
Yeah.
And it's like, even though he's a cunt.
I don't care about any of it.
No, I don't care. I don't give much of the monkeys.
I don't subscribe to anything that comes out of it. I don't really care.
Whatever
they do is like you just have to face the consequences of realistically, and as terrible as they are, I don't think there's anyone else that would do it. As I think it's just would be more of a shit show in many other ways.
Yeah.
There's no right answers to shit, so it's just fucking.
Just sit back and laugh at it. What happens? You know what I mean? It's like. It's kind of sad though because you brought up Keemstar earlier, but the actual normal news is basically just Keemstar episodes now. It's just like the TV's news caught up to the YouTube news 5 years ago. It's just the same thing.
It's like, speaking of scandals, Matt Hancock has been seen cheating on his missus. I don't know why are you.
That's not what the BBC News at 6 was like last time I watched it, right? But
yeah, man, it's changed.
They've updated the formula.
Keemstar when he's had a shave. It's the British version.
Jesus.
He's such an ugly man without a beard. Yeah, bless him.
But yeah, despite the government being useless, I have been quite impressed by local people who are putting on gigs actually being quite smart-ish about the COVID stuff, because there's like, I mean, Blood Vision's put out a thing where you have to bring like a negative test to the thing, and like other people have been putting out like, we're not going to check, but make sure you get tested before you turn up and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Easy off people like that are still being like, don't come to our shows if you haven't had one. Like, saying you probably won't be checked, but just do one. Like, I just think, I don't know. Again, it's a lot of people to get it into their heads that like it's more of like an authoritarian thing where like I'm not doing a test because you've told me to do one. So like that's why I'm not doing one, and that really winds me up because it's like if it is such a basic theory. Like if everyone there has done one in the last 24 hours, then like.
Everyone's good.
It's just so reduced. Like it's not gone. It's not they're wrong and whatever. But like realistically, it just makes it okay. People are just
I think it's it's logical authoritarianism. Like you can actually see it, and it makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like you can kind of be like doing a test before a gig makes obvious sense. No one's just trying to do it to take away your free will. No one's trying to do it to do this, do that. Like it makes sense. I think that, like, just like you're saying, it just makes me laugh. Like,
it's like being like, I'm not printing off a ticket because you're making away my free will of not wanting to print off a ticket. You have to do one to get in. Sorry, lad, but that's life. I don't. But
ID. Yeah, same shit.
I don't really, and I know it probably is a controversial topic, but people like even anti-vaxxers and not having the vaccine passport and things like that. I just think like if it becomes part of life, it's just a bit like with ID. If that's what you need to get in, unfortunately, if you don't have it, you can't come in.
Yeah.
Like. That is the truth of it, and you're entitled to make your decision.
So are the venues.
But everyone is, and everyone's got to have their own safety in their heads, and it is just a thing of like just just get it. Like, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like, just do it. I don't really understand.
I get the fuck you part of it, where it's like, I don't want to do it, but then I also don't get the entitlement part of it, where it's like, I'm not gonna follow any rules, but also please let me in and
let me do it.
Let me be all the stuff you're doing that I want to be part of, but I'm not willing to do the stuff to be part of it. It's like pick a side, you know.
School gets like excluded, and you turn around and you're like, hold on, why are you not letting me to school? And it's like, you're within your rights to be a cunt at school, but we're okay to swear, aren't we?
Yeah. No, this is a PG podcast. The world's first PG podcast.
People always check with us. I was like, should we check with God?
If my Airbnb deal wasn't ruined already, it really is now.
I was like, yeah, if you want to be the biggest cunt in school, that's your choice. That's absolutely fine. But don't be surprised when people tell you to fuck off and not come back. And as you say, it's the same thing. People decide what you want to do, but unfortunately, if that means you can't come to gigs and you can't go to sporting venues and you can't go to fucking airports. France have gone even you won't be able to go into pubs, restaurants, anything without having a double vaccine.
Really?
I kind of get it, man. Just is what it is. Like, at the end of the day, like, I think I can say that from a person that's like I've had my first one. I'm gonna have my second one. Like, I can say that from that perspective. So I think like for me to see people being like, oh no, I don't want it. Like, it's gonna make me infertile. I was like, but yeah, you'll go put 50 quid's worth of coke up your nose, smoke a deck of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you're kind of like, these people are like, oh, that's gonna make me infertile. I'm like, come on now, the logic of being able to abuse your body in one way but not take a vaccine that's going to help massively and subscribe to some of these conspiracy theories. I think they're like, I find it, until there is solid proof and evidence, I'm always probably going to pick the stuff that's suggested towards me by people of
who know what they're on about.
Oh yeah, and also like, I'm one of these people. If someone's smarter than me and they tell me to in like a field and they suggest me to do something.
This is where we'll add the part laugh track in.
Yeah, like in a field that's not one of my own, not a field I own.
Yeah, carry on.
It's like one of the. Oh, you've thrown me off!
Somebody smarter than you. You don't even have to go
Somebody smarter than me in a field that I'm not involved in a realm that I'm not involved in. I'm gonna fucking listen to them. I don't know that shit. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not interested in knowing. If it's going to help, let it help. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if someone come up to me, right, driving instructor, told you how to drive, right? They told you to put your seatbelt on. You're gonna fucking put your seatbelt on, aren't you?
Yeah.
Same shit. A doctor who has studied 40 years in making a fucking vaccine has gone, I'll take this. This might help stop the pandemic. There you go. Might save your life. Yeah. You're gonna go, cheers, mate. Obviously, I won't jock it myself, but I'll, go to one of these clinics and get it sorted. Funny old topic. Yeah, interesting. Can we get on something humour? I'm better. I feel like I'm going back to doing philosophy at uni. Stop this.
Did you do philosophy at uni?
Yeah, I got a degree in philosophy. That's why I talk a lot of shit.
Well, it's helped you out. That and all the hours of Xbox live parties on Warzone has kind of given you the podcast skills you need. Yeah.
Discord, man. I'm telling you. It's an accumulation.
MSN group chats back in the day. You have a third of it.
Yeah, literally. You're not wrong. BBM.
Yeah, and that's the reason why people in other fields are more qualified than podcasters, because that is our work experience CV for what we sit and tell people.
I have thousands of hours on Discord, actually, so... Yeah.
I open my mouth a lot. You can trust me on whatever I'm about to tell you about.
I talk a lot of shit, and I do make a tip myself for people, so it is what it is.
So now we need to get off the pandemic somehow.
I want to talk about this.
Oh, the little slow tie Coke can.
That's fucking sick.
Did you guys not get one? I thought everyone got one with the album. Unless you didn't get the album. In which case I've outed you in front of thousands of adoring fans.
We are going to Happy...
Oh, you're going to Happy Land?
Happy Land?
Yeah.
Fest?
We are.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think that's so fucking sick.
Cool.
It looks awesome.
It's so cool. And especially to see people like, we're desperate to put Northampton on the music map. And he's literally then just come across and done it.
Yeah. Do a festival that we want
He's come back.
Indie music festivals of the year. in Northampton.
It's gonna be sick.
Amazing. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, what's the lineup now? Because I remember when I booked, and then people were saying this person has dropped out, this person has changed, and I was like,
Not
I
looks
know
into
Easy
books.
Life, and that's the third Easy Life mention. You're gonna have to put a count on the Easy
damn, Easy Life counter.
They're playing, and who's it? Is it Idols?
No.
Yeah, I think Idols are on there. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think they definitely will be now because they did that song. They did that Modern Village remix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Green Team Peg's on there.
Let me have a note.
I don't know whether Izzy Gibbs is still on there. People were saying he might have dropped out.
What a boy.
But yeah.
Oh,
But yeah.
Izzy Gibbs.
He's gonna be sick though.
He knocks about with Rosa quite a bit.
Oh right.
And I used to play basketball with Rosa, so I kind of like know that grime scene.
Oh,
like,
fair enough.
Through all that shit. So like seeing Izzy Gibbs on a stage like that, it'd actually be one of them ones where I was like, that's fucking
would
sick.
be sick
That's
as fuck.
fucking cool. Actually, that is really cool.
Yeah. It's gonna be a mad one though. I did actually see a physical poster for it, and I'm so I think it's still there. And every time I walk past, I'm like,
Oh, steal it, man.
I really want to nick it.
Yeah.
But,
I really want to steal the poster.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
That's me whenever I go anywhere. Whenever I'm like, oh, I want to steal that one.
oh, mate, that is
Since
me.
the podcast finishes, we just race out.
Start
Go
stealing
find
posters
it.
all over town.
Bieber Doobie's the other one that's on it.
Bieber Doobie,
Yeah.
That'll
yeah.
be sick.
That's huge.
She's currently at another festival at the moment. Is she? Is it Latitude or something? Yeah.
She's fucking cool, man.
I've never actually listened to her stuff because my friend uploaded a picture and she was like, it was a bit. I just was like, oh, who's that? And then I went on the account. It's like 11 million followers. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Big time,
Who's
big
that?
time.
Blew up on TikTok, didn't she, with that
Coffee
song?
Never
Oh.
coffee for your
Mm.
head.
It blew up.
So was she just a TikToker first, and then,
No, so
or
I
was she a
think
musician
wasn't an
first?
artist.
she was a musician. I just think her song went viral on TikTok. I don't think she did anything with her song. I just think someone found it on like a SoundCloud
right.
or something.
And it just
That Coffee had already got like a diehard fan base behind it anyway, like the tracks that she
shit.
was releasing, and then slowly just kind of released more and more, and all of them TikTok loved, which is rules the fucking charts at the moment.
didn't she?
Yeah. I think it went number one for a
Not
bit.
long ago.
Yeah, what's it? Something Flowers,
Yeah.
Sunset Flowers.
Something like that. And it's good. It's good. She's
Yeah, really
good.
sick, really
She's
talented
Oh,
girl.
I'll have to check it out. I mean, if she's at Happy Land, she has to be at least good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, she's unbelievable. And while she's at Happy Land, you know, there is a podcast based in Wellingborough.
she could come along just down the road.
Fancies, you know, coming down to the studio
It's
happily.
one of our big visions of it is staying in that studio forever, and then when we are obviously having, like, let's say Liam Gallagher on the podcast, he still has to come to Wellingborough.
Yeah, come through my mum's
and
house.
literally go like this, come through the house, say hello, get a cup of tea with Elliot's mum, and then come into the studio. Like, that is the pilgrimage for anyone who comes.
Yeah.
in, so.
I do like that attitude. That's an attitude we're noticing, like in Northampton as well. It's like, we're not going to go to London. We're going to make you come to us now. It's kind of like people have got bored of that. They're just like, no, you can come here because it's
Northampton's got one
better.
thing going for it, it's the fucking location in the country. Like, it is
The M1.
easily accessible from
Everywhere.
There's no
Yeah.
excuses.
We've got a train to Birmingham. We've got a train to London.
Yeah.
That's all we need.
And literally,
We're sorted.
The line to Wellingborough from London is like
45
it's
fucking
literally
minutes.
like 45 minutes.
Mm.
You can get from Birmingham to Northampton in like 45 minutes. You can get from Manchester to MK in like 45 minutes. I was like, there's no excuses for anyone.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
that's it.
Perfect location. It's the
It's a
hub of the
shithole,
UK.
But it's in a good location.
Yeah, it's
That's
our
it.
Yeah, but that's part of the charm, I think.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, it just needs a few more venues. Needs a few more,
but
like...
they're popping up.
They are.
You know,
it's the mid-level. We've been talking about this for ages,
Mm.
and it's the one thing that we really want to do in Northampton when we get the opportunity and finances behind it, and some form of like sponsorship. We want to try and get a place that we can put a 400, 500 cap venue,
Okay.
that sort of size,
Mm.
because it's either 250
Mm.
or Roadmender, which is 800 to 1,000.
Yeah.
That jump is huge and it is inaccessible. Whereas like you get like a 400, 500 person venue that people can come down and fill out, and it's you know, traveling bands aren't necessarily going to want to come to a 200 person venue because they know their fans are it's already bigger than that. So do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the Red
exactly.
Rome clubs and people like that are playing like smaller rooms, O2 Academies or like Broodnell Social Club or some places like that 400 number, and it works. So I feel like that's what we need.
Yeah.
And I think then we're like a rocket, man. So when you just churn the bands, the local bands, through that pilgrimage to the Roadmender, and then
Yeah, because that is the thing. There is a, like you say, it's a gap, isn't there? I mean, the
that
only
gap.
500 one's Crawford Arms, but that's in Wolverton. So it's like you have to get on the train, and it's kind of like one of those things where I'm always kind of like,
it's awkward, isn't it?
even
and
like
then someone's got to drive.
Like Bedford Squires and that as well. No,
Yeah.
it's a good sized venue, but again, it's like
bit harder to get to.
It's harder to sell tickets because if you're a Northampton band, you do and you have that like route down in Northampton, then you're automatically probably halving it because the amount of people can't afford to, can't be bothered to, whatever it is to travel. Whereas if you just know it's there, I think that the new Black Prince room that's 250
classroom
is a great. It's a good.
Is it finished
start.
now?
Yeah,
or is it?
They did their first gig in it on
Friday. It was on Friday.
Yeah,
we were literally sat in the pub and were debating between Garibaldi and Black Prince for a bit, weren't we? I think it was a quicker walk to Garibaldi in the end.
And they did Guinness on tap.
Yeah. And we didn't have tickets at Black Prince. You got sold out, so I was a bit worried of being like. But yeah, Black Prince is doing bits for that size venue. It's not. It's just not quite there. But their outdoor bits 400 and stuff. So I think that's really one of those places. And I think then the trick is trying to get it on those little UK tour circuits. Those people that do play, play in London, Birmingham and Manchester, Liverpool maybe, and maybe one in Scotland.
Yeah.
Trying to just be like, just stick a Northampton one in there. And if you can just do, people just start recognising the name, and just almost, because you could almost say anyone East Midlands is going to come here and almost make it the hub for covering that area. So that if you do like London, Bristol and Northampton, it's almost like covering the whole of South England and trying to just get that into people's heads, because then I think that just naturally builds it up a lot in trying to just get people to get on those lineups. But
and then hopefully we'll get better nightclubs in turn with that.
Yeah, then the nightclub gig isn't great, is it?
Yeah.
The awkward silence.
Got really sad.
Oh, what a shame.
What a shame. What
and there goes my MB sponsorship. But like, no, there is because apparently, and I found this out from the You'll Find Out pod. I'll add that to the shout out counter as well. Two for them, but because they're not that they're old, obviously, not to insult them, but they're like a generation above, so they know about before.
A whole generation.
I'd say a bit of a generation, but like, or in terms of knife lice. How old am I? 21.
Oh yeah, same age as us.
Yeah.
Cool.
So.
21, you're 22.
Oh, so he's a generation.
Yeah.
Oh god. But they were saying like before it was like there were other Roadmender style venues or of that size where bigger bands used to come to Northampton, and then they just slowly drifted away throughout the years, and now it like became probably, I think we're a bit better than it was before. It's slowly building back up, but it did really dip. So I mean, it's not unfeasible to get it back on the map.
Genuinely, I think it is, and I think there's a lot of really interesting buildings coming up for sale in the Northampton area, in that town centre bit, especially the one that like we keep looking at is the fucking snooker hall.
Oh, on Bridge Street.
Yeah.
That would be a fucking spot.
That would be
perfect.
Huge, massive space that you can section down into smaller nights, and you could also probably do bigger nights. It's 3 floors, so you could do like a bar and
Don't
like
start a bidding war.
Sorry.
It's terrible. The floor's rotten. There's no windows. Single glazing.
They should take £500 for it, and then we can have it.
Yeah, no one buy it, because if it's still there in like 5 years, maybe I'll give it a crack. But yeah, like that, and the place where it is. Perfect, man. That'd be like that sort of venue, and when that's coming up, and then there's also the one that's by Audi. There's like an old factory that looks like it's up for sale as well, or maybe let.
So okay,
like to like the right, that also looks big enough to be able to stick something in, but then you've got to go through more licensing laws and stuff like that. So there's a lot of logistics around it. But I think like that is something I'm fucking soaking, especially with the university getting bigger too. It makes much. It makes so much sense. Like trying to build a indie music scene around Northampton that's like almost like similar to your likes of your Nottinghams, because the Nottingham has that route and everything like that, because Nottingham's again very similar to Northamptonshire in a sense of like,
well, the uni's got the same name, they're both UON.
Yeah, exactly.
Nottingham's slightly less legally using that name, but okay.
Yeah, I think like it's one of them ones where like there is a real scene in Nottingham. Nottingham's a scene, proper scene. There's so many good venues in Nottingham, and I feel like just needs it here, man. Needs it. Just because I like the bands are so fucking good as well, man.
There's so much fucking good music.
So much talent in Northampton.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But like you say, they're all sort of pushing out that level now where they need slightly bigger venues. But if they want that, they have to go elsewhere. And then it's like...
And you see it.
Yeah, it's like, why not
bring
it to us?
You see it with Phantom Isle's a key one of that. Where Phantom Isle are in Northampton, were a Northampton based.
But they're all in London now, aren't they?
They're now they're now a London based band. And it like they even say they're a London based band. And that like, you know, I know they probably went for work and stuff and it wasn't necessarily to do with the music scene, but I think that being a thing could have helped progress them around here and still be a thing. Or
you have a ceiling, don't you? Because even if you can then, you know, like Sarp doing a gig at the Romendo, and even if you can go for it, but then it is almost then like you do it and then it's like, now what? Like, where do you go? You have to sort of then step it up, and there isn't quite that step up of like, well, we'll do a different one, or we'll do a couple of nights, and it's just like, oh, we've just done it now.
Yeah.
And it's like, it is...
Yeah, we've outgrown the town, and then we have to go.
I think also the problem with the Romender is there's a lot of shit nights there as well. Like old school nights. Do you know what I mean? There's always like a discotheque night, and then like a weird like dance hall night, and then like bits and bobs where they do like almost like events with like cover bands and stuff, and it's like,
it feels like it's for a lot older audience, the Romender generally, unless they have like the other night where they had like Bombay on, or like they had Fontaines on as well, didn't they?
All the time. Fontaines and Bombay in the same week, that should be happening all the time.
Yeah, constantly.
A bit like we said about getting on those tour dates, they should be on big bands tour dates. They should be like whatever bands are doing it, you know, your likes of Blossoms, whoever. Why shouldn't they come and play Romendo when they're touring the UK? Because it's like you've got a really good classic venue there, and there's people will sell it out in this area. So it's like, I don't know whether it's a booking agent that works there or what it does, or whoever tries to sort it out, but try and get people like that again.
Yeah, who are we aiming this at? I feel like I need to at someone at this, because like fix your shit.
People just do it. If you just
I'll send the file to them. I'll just be like, here's some clips. Go watch this.
Send it to the Roman and just like fix your clip, or we'll do it.
Like Fontaine and Bombay both sold out quick time.
Oh yeah.
That's an easier
gig.
Well, here's the thing. It's like, literally in my head, those two things are the only thing that's happened there. Like, since it's like they've obviously been doing other stuff, but it's like you don't hear about it unless you were part of the thing there.
I think the thing is like, it's gonna sound a really weird way to do it, but I think there's a thing with what happens when like you own a building, and because the building's been there so long, they own a building. So like the whole push to have to get big events going. I know obviously last year's been COVID and stuff, but have big events going that is going to entice a younger audience. They're going to be there forever. The fact they can sell Trevor Nelson's collection 4 nights a year is probably enough for them. There's not necessarily there doesn't seem to be an urge from whether it be the actual Romender or anything until this year with them 2 events, which I think were pretty much handed to them on a plate by the lottery commission or whatever it was. Because it was for the lottery organised a lot of it. It was almost like bringing back to the scene and stuff, or handing back to smaller venues or something.
That's interesting to hear, because they seem to. Because like I just was in the car and happened to hear an interview where they were talking to him like, "Oh, is it special to have like a big band come in?" And they were like, "No, we always. There's like this is just not for us." And I was like, "Is it? Is it really?"
It's just not.
But
not relevant ones. Like,
there's
been big gigs there.
Oh my god, massive gigs.
Specials are played. Probably the same, and they'll be like, I saw so and so there, and then 80s and the 90s and wherever it was, and these people played there. And they do have, it's almost like one big one a year, maybe like over the last 5-10 years. But it's not like it should be as consistent as 2 major indie bands a week as selling out Roman. Like, why not? It should be almost like every Friday, like being used. And this is the thing that we had coming from like. I was at uni in Manchester and you in Leeds, that we kind of we understood what it was like in Northampton, but when we came back to it, it was almost even more disappointing than we thought. So I was just used to somewhere where like if we were bored on a Tuesday night, I'd just go on Skiddle, put in Manchester Tonight, and there'd be like 10 gigs that I'd be like they'd all be good.
Yeah,
they'd all be fun to go to. Like there's it doesn't need to be like you can only do one every year. Like why? Most nights of the week in Northampton there should be something decent going on, and on a Friday and Saturday there should be a major gig happening.
I also think the other thing that I can see them missing out on, and I know the platform is like the main union for the university.
Well, it's gone now.
Sorry?
Yeah. It's not gone, but I don't even think it's uni affiliated anymore, but the name's changed. So it's under new management. And I think they'll still advertise it as like the uni one, but I'm not sure whether the money goes into the uni.
There you go. So
to be honest, I was at that uni for 3 years and I didn't go once.
Really?
Like,
because this is something that what I was going to say, like things like did you ever do Bongos Bingo?
Yeah.
Or like so it's a bingo where they give out like fucking Henry Hoovers and like fucking cereal, and it's like a bloke dressed in like a mankini with a wig on stage calling the numbers, and they have it's a big event, lots of music, you can dance on the tables and the chairs, and it's a massive thing. And they do it in most cities, like Leeds, Manchester, all of the bigger cities they do it in, and it always happens, and they sell out every time they do two a month sort of thing. Why are we not getting that sort of thing once a month, like the Romender or something like that? Because it's a venue of that sort of size, and you don't have to do it at a weekend if you've got your, you know, your geriatrics coming through to do like soul night or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think like you could do something that's more young and like bringing in excitement, because people don't go to Northampton now from outside of Northampton really to go
despite
out.
What uni lad would have you believe on their polls.
Best night out in the country, apparently.
Waffle. I stepped into Balloon. I didn't even go into Balloon. We went into fucking MB's. That was a shit show.
Oh god,
that was awful.
That we ended up.
Yeah,
so I disappeared.
Well, we tried to go to Revs and they wouldn't let us in.
Yeah.
Because it was too late. So we literally, like, we had two mates who were literally walking like 5 minutes further ahead, who were in there. And we rocked up and they were like, yeah, no, sorry, it's too late. We're not
for fuck's sake.
We were like, fuck. So then they came out and it was like, we sort of looked at each other and were like, oh,
MB's?
we could go MB's for a couple of drinks.
The classic.
So it did, and yeah, it's just...
But it's like there's no excitement for a nightlife in Northampton.
No, I think... Yeah, it's one of those towns which is like... The nightclubs are a bit... like you said, mostly shit.
Wank.
But it's like... But like the small venue stuff is really, really good. But like you say, it doesn't have the stuff to step it up. Yeah. And also like that stuff ends at like... Because it's all in like the pub style venues. That stuff closes at like half 12 and stuff. So it's like... If you want to get really crazy, it's kind of like, oh, okay, that's it.
Yeah, we literally had this conversation in the car on the way in. Because I said how good like that night was the other night in Garibaldi, but like if it finishes at 1... It's obviously not their fault. It's licensing to do the pub, like, but when something like that finishes at 1, we needed to go somewhere else.
That was a good night, man.
It was a great, like, if that had finished at 2 or even 3, then it's perfect. I would get in there as early as possible.
Oh yeah.
And stay there all night, and then we'd just go home. I mean, there'd be no need for it, and you could get more into it. But it's more like you've got that, but you just need that extra place to go to that like always carries on that. Like Manchester, we always went 42s, which is literally just Garibaldi, that style night, but just in a night where they can actually play indie music. They play loads of local music, and people go and they love it, and it's cheap drinks, and it's like, why is there not someone like that here? Like, where?
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's like a town that just kind of that after hours stuff thrives on house parties, which get shut down constantly so quickly. Like. Also, like the pandemic, obviously has it. Not to get back onto that. Give that a wide berth, but like has a big part of it. But even still, it's like clearly they must realise it's like, okay, we're walking around shutting down house parties every 5 minutes. Like, let's just put all the drunks in one place and give them.
Easy,
yeah,
you
know
what
what I
mean.
mean.
For the fucking police, it makes it easy for the council because they know what area they've got to fucking clean up.
Yeah,
and it just makes it more lucrative for a town centre, or a town centre where everything's fucking dead. There is nothing in the town centre. Like you walk round and there's no shops.
Yeah, it's
like fucking even the big Marks and Spencers. The only thing that anyone went to Northampton for.
the big Marks and Spencers.
The big Marks and Spencers
with the cafe.
With the cafe, yeah.
No, it's just like Primark, right? In terms of shops, it's just nothing.
There's nothing else. There's nothing else in Northampton.
And the problem is, like, it doesn't seem like so like big companies are leaving because they're not making money and it's too expensive. But then they're not bringing the price down. Because I was kind of like, oh, okay, the big shit's leaving, but like the smaller businesses that are on the slightly off streets can kind of move up. But it's just like, why would they want it cost so much? So it's just like...
Because they're not going to lower the cost of the rent of the building. They're going to try and charge
if anything, more because they've missed.
Yeah, exactly.
And to be honest, like places like Russian Lakes and that don't help because you give someone.
Well, they snake so much. Yeah. Like the amount of stuff that just was like, okay. Well, Mike Spencer's was one of them. 2 seasons. Yeah. 2 seasons didn't even Russian Lakes anymore. They'd lift as well.
Where is it?
Russian Inlet.
no, Russian Lakes. No, like where's the 2 seasons now? Because I fucking love 2 seasons.
It's gone.
It's got 2 seasons. Is gone.
No, unless you go somewhere else. There's not one in Northamptonshire really.
Only online.
It might have done, to be fair.
I think it's just online.
Yeah.
I think they're down. Well, the thing is, ASOS will take them, won't they? And you'll buy 2 seasons on ASOS and it won't exist on its own.
Yeah.
If Top Man can't survive it, then all those sorts of things ain't got a fucking hope.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that does open up the market for like the actual, like proper local businesses. Because obviously, like it used to be the things where it was like, fuck 2 seasons, we're going to Skate Attic or we're going to the proper local skate shop, and then like. The problem is, by the time 2 seasons left, the actual skate shop was already gone. But now it's like, if we still, like, there's a skate shop down at Radlands, there's a skate shop in Kettering, and I imagine they've kind of grown now. The sort of mainstream one is kind of disappeared. Yeah,
I think there is also a bit of like for a scene like that, like especially skate, and I think a lot with indie music and stuff like that. There is a thing about trying to stay away from mainstream brands. I think it's part of the look, part of the branding, I guess. Like I buy a lot of my stuff secondhand. That's like my go-to thing. I love a charity shop, and I go and like when was it Most Marvelous?
Oh yeah, way back when.
Down.
Yeah, that's gone.
I was so sad. I got so many nice like big flannel shirts from there and like trousers and jeans and shit. Like I was gutted when that went.
Yeah, that was ages ago.
Yeah, so long ago.
Okay, no,
I've not really been here for 4 years.
Yeah, so. But like. There's been some new vintage shots that pop up that are pretty good, but like, the one with the elephant on top. I can't remember. There's Vintage Guru on St Giles Street, but that's more of like gifts and things. But there's a proper vintage shop. Oh, I don't know what the area's called. Like near where Grosvenor Casino is, it's like the next one down. It's like it's called. I think it's Vintage Retreat, but it's massive. It's like 2 floors, and they have like clothes and random stuff.
There's a couple of cars in Kettering I've been to before as well. There's a few good vintage shops in Kettering.
Groovy something's just the one that you got my Ralph and Bear one. They've just opened a new shop upstairs of somewhere above another shop that I can't remember what it's called. I saw it advertised the other day.
Yeah, that's where they've got a little shop upstairs in Kettering. That place was really cool. Like
love shit like that, man.
Yeah, and I think that's when like places like that need to be smart with social media and trying to get their name out a bit, because I think they're places where like if we were like chilling on a Saturday, we wouldn't be like, right, let's go into Northampton and do some vintage clothes shopping, because you just wouldn't think. But if you see it and you see people tagging it and see people going there, we might go, actually, on Saturday, do you want to make a trip over to go to that vintage shop, because I saw so-and-so on their story went, and stuff like that. They've got to really try and like push it to be like, we're here. Because I think some of those places, they're open and they're so fucking cool, and they don't shout about it, and we're cheap and we're doing everything right, then people will come. And actually, if you don't, you've got to shout at people. And like, especially for us, like we are in Wellingborough, we are 20 minutes out of Northampton, so like you've got to tell us something's there, because we're not just gonna gander in and try and find it. Like, you've got to be like, we are fucking here. And almost everyone who buys something, be like, can you put this on your story? Can you tag us in it? Can
really?
Make a cool, if you should, like, if you make a cool sticker, or
I thought you meant they were asking you to do it when you went in. I was like, that seems extreme.
But I think they should.
They should do something similar, or you do like £5 off your shout on social media.
Oh yeah, you do.
Or like a couple £1 off.
You went to a giveaway or something. We've got a little barcode. You just literally like almost scan it, and it will just give you a thing to put on your story, or a photo that you can put on your story. And if you put it up, we'll enter you into a giveaway to win a fucking vintage jumper.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
And just get people to just share the word, because I think like a lot of like-minded people follow each other, especially locally, and people want to come, but it's like unless you shout at people and be like, you've got to come, then it's not going to happen. Yeah,
it's one of the things about the town, I think, with like, there is that side where it's like, it's shit, and then there's the other side of all the really cool stuff, whether it's vintage shops or like even like the Gary's kind of part of that thing where it's hidden on some random back street, and it's like, it's been there for like, as it is what it is today, like 5 or 6 years, and it's only in the last couple of years where it's getting like still like well known. But it's like I was at the uni, people at the uni only go up that one road and back, and that's it. But even still, on that one road, there's Yellow Bourbon Coffee Shop, which no one's heard of, even though it's on the road. It's just like hidden off a side street, you know what I mean? It's like,
and that's when like, even for us, like obviously we were at uni and stuff. But then even when we're back in the summer, we'd have loved to go there, but I didn't even know about it.
Go Baldy,
Yeah.
Or like, well, I mean, when I said to my dad I was going, he was like, "Oh fucking hell!" Because he was like in his day, he was like, it was just rough as fuck.
Yeah, it was a fireman's bar back in the day.
Yeah, he used to go because he used to work at the Croton, and it's like round the corner.
Oh,
from
yeah,
where it
yeah,
used to be. So they said he used to go after work all the time, but it would just be full of fucking like older blokes drinking after work. He was like, "Why are you going there?" And I was like, "Well, it's full of young people going to indie night," and it's like. But we only found that out more recently. But it's like that should be something that we know about. Do you know what I mean?
Genuinely only went due to you are indie.
Are you indie?
Are you indie?
Yeah.
Is that the only time you've been, or have you been before?
So we went literally the one that he did beforehand while everyone sat
okay.
down, where Flake 99 was meant to play. And we're like, we're going out for a few beers. We need some food, so we went there because we saw I did tacos, right? They do. So we're like, we'll go eat and all that shit. And then the music started. And we were like, this is fucking sick. Let's come back. And that was then Friday. And that was a fucking...
that was mental.
That was a picture, man.
Yeah.
I loved that.
So you've not seen anything live there yet?
No.
Holy
yeah,
fuck.
genuinely, like, this is like, and this is what it's been, quite nice, like, getting into the scene a bit now, like, doing what we're doing and kind of knowing people in the scene now. It's quite nice because they're like, oh, we're going here this weekend. Do you fancy it? And we're like, yeah, because, like, when we used to come back, the only place I used to go was... We go, no, we either go to Spoons or we go to what's now the Fish, but it used to be the Market.
Oh yeah, on the across from Costa. Yeah.
We go there for whatever was going on, and then remember the Wigan Pen if we're lucky.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, you were on the fucking old man part of town.
Man. Yeah.
So that's why you think there's nothing here.
Yeah.
Which I like half agree with, but mostly disagree with. You're about to discover some real shit. You're about to. Because that was the one thing I did. Because it makes sense now knowing you've like come back from uni and it was like through lockdown and stuff. Because when I remember seeing your podcast, I was like, oh, cool, they're doing music and they're like Northampton based. They're going to basically have all my friends on. And then it was like you had some of the local bands on, then it was other stuff. But it's like, I guess if you've been only just sort of getting to know now.
Yeah, literally now only just getting into the scene, really. Like, now everything's reopened. Like, Rolling Thunder that we were out with.
Shout out Rolling Thunder.
Fucking love them.
What boys.
Absolute legend. And their like crew that they come with, like the big group of them. Amazing, great fun. But like, that was the second time we ever met them. Ever that night. That was the second time we've ever met them. Well,
same here,
third
actually.
if you count a Zoom.
Yeah.
Like, that's
same
it.
here.
But it's like, it's the same with everything. Like, we kind of... That's what I'm saying. Like, when we had pictured the podcast, we always pictured it being bigger than it was. Never really like we're gonna nail down the local scene. Like, I feel like what you've done really well is like, if you want to know about Northampton,
but I'm also making this mistake of being too hidden as well. I think because it's just like
I think it depends on what you want from a podcast. Like, you know, we're chasing drug money and fame, so you know.
Fair enough.
No, we want to just try and grow what we're doing to as an end point of, you know, I've said since we started that my end point is a Beats One radio show. That's when that's when I kick the mics in, and that's when I'm done. That's where we want to get. And with having that goal in mind, we know that we look around and we see other indie music podcasts, and we go, right, let's be better than them. Let's make that better than them. Let's do this and step up the level, so we then become the one that everyone goes, oh shit, they're the indie music podcast.
That's where we go.
And I think that's where, like, for us, if that's our goal. So, you know, shouting out the local scene is something we love to do, but it's not necessarily like the sole reason for our podcast.
I just think we're more breadth over depth.
Yeah,
for
sure.
Like, we want to try and just get ourselves everywhere a little bit rather than being like deep rooted into something specific, which is, and as you say, like, some people won't like that as much because they almost meet someone that we interview and meet them with us, and then they're gone. And it's they'll never see them again. Whereas something that's quite nice being like, you dive right in and you know everything about yourself. Specific stuff, and that's how a lot of podcasts run, which I think like kind of what makes us unique is we don't know anything about anything. We just get people in and we'll just see what fucking happens. Like, people will come in and then bring topics up and we'll be like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Let's give it a go.
Let's go with it. Let's just try and keep it going.
Let's form an opinion on the fly. I might not agree with it when I listen to it back in an edit, but let's do it.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
Like, the local scene naturally becomes a part of it because it's where we're rooted, but and that will change and adapt. As I say, like, you're going back to Leeds next year, so like your local scene then instantly changes, and I'll be here.
Yeah.
So I'll be almost looking after this scene and trying to get people in and trying to keep up with who's who. But we sort of want to know who's who here. But I want to know who's who in Manchester just as well as I know who's who.
Yeah, and in Leeds and stuff like that. Especially if you're all moving about a little bit, you want to be. It's you basically. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's because you are in Leeds and here, you're in Manchester and here. It's like
and it becomes,
stick to it.
And I think also like how fluttered we are with any form of like what we create. Like as you probably see with TikToks to Reels to like a T-shirt to you know, we're in the process of doing like stickers and shit like that. Like we just kind of flutter around literally whatever form of like vlogs, everything, like whatever form of content we make. So it makes sense for us to, instead of being in one place and focused on one place, to be fluttered around all across the country, because there is so much to see and so much to talk about across countrywide that suits our personality too.
Yeah, well, it's funny, isn't it? It's literally like what I was saying earlier about us being in school and being like, we're going to have these ideas and do them. We've now just given ourselves a platform to do that from, so we'll be like that almost daily occurrence of being like, we could do this.
Yeah, man.
And then it's like,
fucking hell,
some of it sticks, some of it doesn't, but it is very much like we've gone from that virtual podcast to selling different types of T-shirts to putting a gig on and trying to sell tickets for that, experiencing doing that, to literally now travelling the country doing different podcasts and planning other things. And it's like, you know, if we wanted to become like the people for the Northampton scene, it would be a very different sort of focus of what we wanted to do.
Yeah,
we're just going to throw ourselves into this, know every single fucker in the scene, get them all on and know everything about them. But we'd rather be like, we might miss a podcast because we've released like 3 different random T-shirts that we've done that are to do with something else from over there, and it's like that's fair enough. Our style of it, isn't it? But it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, it suits my brain as well. I'm
I'm
not very like, I know for someone who sits and does podcasts and that, I can stay focused, but I have a point, and then when I get bored of something, I'm on to something else, and sometimes I get like a thought pop in, and it will fucking take me on a complete tangent. And I'll sit there with my notebook out and I'll draw and write something up. And, you know, there was one night, the night we did our first load of T-shirts, we got a notification through, I think your auntie had put something like, comment on one of our posts, with like, when we getting merch. And I was like, fucking great shout. When are we doing merch? So I was then up till like 4 a.m, like doing this design, working out what we wanted, working out the fit, what we needed to do, how I wanted to shoot it, how I wanted to edit it and everything like that. Planned it all out like overnight, and by the next day I'd sent it to an artist to make look less shit and then come back to me to stick on a T-shirt. So it's like I work really well when I get taken on tangents, and this allows me to. Like, it allows us to. Like, we can literally sit there and have a chat about, I don't know, what's one thing that we've definitely put on the back burner, but we were talking about doing some form of like live show where we do a bit more of a Top of the Popsy style thing, where we have live bands on, a bit like the Scruff of the Neck stuff that if you've seen it on like Twitch, but that sort of style event sort of thing, where like
you'd be hosting it as well as
we'd host it and interview, a bit like a Jonathan Ross but with more live music and less of a lisp. Depends how many beers.
Depends on that.
How many Guinnesses.
That would be sick though. I think there'd be a market for that though, because it is like I mean the advantage you have is you're on the internet, so you can like you say, you can drink beer and you can swear and you can do whatever you want. It's like TV and Jonathan Ross. It's very
you are this. So you're this thing in this box.
Yeah, it's taking that concept even further, of being like creating the media that we'd want to see.
Like, 100%.
All the people come on and have a beer with us, but then play a couple of songs and then fuck off again, and we'll talk about something else. And like, even, you know, we spoke a lot about doing like game shows with people involved, but doing them like Imagine the Chase, but it's on the internet and everyone can fucking swear at each other and be like, idiot. Like, I don't know, even that concept is like sick. So like just doing. Yeah, we have a lot of ideas.
So many ideas. Like a never mind the Buzzcock sort of thing. Do you remember when that was on? They used to get like artists on BBC. And it was like, used to get fucking what was his name? The one that's got the wild hair. That was really vague.
Any man.
Einstein. Richard
Branson.
No, he's rich.
Richard Hammond.
No, he's short.
Richard
the 8th.
Who?
Richard Nixon.
Richard, he's dead.
Right.
So it's really annoying. I think the guy you're on about is actually performing in Northampton. Because I saw a poster. Yeah.
Richard, one with Lily Allen. No. Madonna. No. Katy Perry. He's a Katy Perry. Massive sniff head.
With Katy Perry. Oh, no.
Massive sniff head.
It's become a research session for this guy.
Got a eyeliner.
Oh, not the cunt who was on Bake Off.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Noel.
Yeah, Noel Fielding.
No.
Oh god,
no. He's the one. No, Noel Fielding's the one that's the in IT crowd. He sleeps in the server room.
No, that's Richard Ayoda.
No, he's in it. No.
Okay.
Richard.
The guy off Bake Off with the eyeliner is Noel Fielding.
Yeah.
Okay, no, not him.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna go back to finding this Instagram post I saw earlier.
Richard Drugs.
Yeah.
Richard Drugs.
Richard Drugs. Not Richard Ascroft. Richard Drugs. Katy Perry. They're things that. Richard Drugs. Katy Perry. Katy Perry. Richard Drugs, Katy Perry. Russell Brand.
Drugs.
Fuck. That took a while.
Russell Brand. You meant Russell Brand.
Yeah, I didn't mean Richard. Sorry. We began with an R.
Russell Brand.
Why was I thinking about Russell
Brand? I don't know why it was relevant now. Fuck's sake.
Oh, today we never mind the Buzzcocks. I think it's because he captained the team on that at one point.
Yeah.
But it was back in the day where he had no filter. And he was off shitloads of drugs and piss all the time.
Isn't he like... He has a podcast now, doesn't he? He's a bit of a...
Yeah.
Everyone's got right.
Everyone has a podcast, let's be honest.
I was thinking about this earlier, and how kind of weird it is that podcasts are becoming popular, because like all we've spoken about all the time is short form media, and how everyone's attention spans are getting shorter, and how everyone's wanting to look at quick things for like literally like a few seconds and that's it. And yet the only other medium that's growing really, really quickly is fucking podcasts.
So it's like two extremes, basically.
Revolve around long form
I mean?
media and like 3 hour length conversations.
Well, do you know what that is? It's this guy's mentality of being like, I can only stay in things for so long unless I get taken by it, and then I'm super committed.
Yeah.
So it's like he just flicks through until he finds that one, and then he goes through it.
And then you're in.
That's
I
how
think as well, the beauty of it is being able to listen to podcasts while doing other things.
Yeah.
I've always been that person that will put a movie on and I'll be loving it, but I'm itching to do something else. I kind of want to go on my phone. I stop myself doing that, but I'm kind of like having my vision on one thing. So the fact that I can work from home all day, then drive somewhere else, and then do something else, and for like 14 hours I can have podcasts on. Like I can have them on all the time. So like the fact that you can have that entertainment while doing something else, it almost itches. If you want to, you can scroll through TikTok and listen to a podcast. Yeah, because like, in theory you can do both, so it kind of matches up. But it is still weird that like. I don't know, people are either really have a short attention span or a really long attention span.
It is strange, and I think I don't know why that podcasts, like for me, I'm on it all the time. Like I literally listen to podcasts. Like my other job that I do is I either work on a building site or I work a delivery drive for Waitrose.
Shout out Waitrose.
Shout out Waitrose in the van. But like I have a podcast on non-stop in the van. No, like I will have a podcast on and I have like 5 that I rotate through, and I just look through and I'm really interested in the like social media stuff. I have to admit, like I love like the Call of Duty scene. I love the influencer scene. I am really interested.
Are there Call of Duty podcasts?
Well, no, like the Call of Duty scene more like Nade Shot. Yeah, I don't. Do you know much?
Because
about
he used to be on Optic, didn't he? I
I
remember that from way back in the day.
Yeah.
I used to be way more in it, like MW2,
Like
even before, like MW3, and then
like old school.
shout out Optic Jewel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, so I listen to a lot of Nade Shot now owns and started like 100 Thieves, which is a new gaming org which was based around clothing, where they sign content creators as well as professional gamers, and they are a bit more like FaZe, where they have teams in not just COD,
But
teams
everything,
in like
yeah.
League, COD, like Valorant, everyone. So I find him really fascinating, and he does a podcast with Courage, for like Courage JD, who was a commentator on COD years ago. And he's now a content creator, full-time content creator. So I listen to their podcast shitloads, and that side of the scene. So like, and like Optic Hex, and like all of them, like the one, like the CEO and all that, like they all have podcasts, and I can sit for hours listening to them lot talk. Whether it be about the Call of Duty scene or whether it just be about their opinions on shit. I think it's just because my brain runs very similar to them in a sense of like, I'm really interested in social media and being like, I I guess not center of attention, but like the
Let's be honest, at some point, if you have a podcast, you somewhat like the attention.
like,
even if you claim not to, you kind of... There's only so much you can be like, no, don't talk to me.
Yeah, it's that shit. It's like, I love that side of it, but then I also love being like a little virgin in my room watching Call of Duty streams until 4 o'clock in the morning.
It's mad that you are a virgin.
Mad.
Yeah, that's the only true part of the whole statement.
It's such a lie. But now, even if I say it's a lie,
said,
it looks like it's not.
It's a lie. Sorry, I was lying.
For more news, subscribe, guys.
Innit? Could you imagine if I was a virgin? That'd be.
Yeah, imagine.
That'd be wild.
That'd be so sad.
Yeah. Podcasts are good. I listen to an obscene amount.
Absurd amounts.
It's weird though because what's really hard, and what I've thought about with ours as well, starting a new podcast is hard because I feel like if I don't know the people, I'm a bit like, why should I care what you're saying? And
the barrier to entry.
It's hard. But listening to a couple is hours of your life.
Like drugs.
Yeah. It's a bit like that whole thing with like on Netflix when you start a movie and you're like, I'm committing 2 hours of my life to this. If it's shit, I'm going to be so angry. So that's why you scroll because you're like, it's a risky decision. And podcasts have that same, like, if I'm going to put it on for this long, if I've not listened to it before, how am I supposed to know if it's any fucking good? And by the time it's not good, it's too late. So that's why I'm always mind blown that anyone finds our podcast and listens and goes for it. And then I'm like, I know we can have them out for a couple, but it's that, like, getting people to commit to 2 random fucking lads.
Oh, yeah.
No idea what it's like. For hours at a time is difficult.
But I think it's easier than if you were just uploading short things on Instagram. Because after a certain point, it's like after that, if you can hook them for that first hour, then suddenly they're like, oh, it's like I'm just listening to my friends talk.
Yeah.
And then they're like bonded. Then that's it.
And I think that's like, I think you can gain followers and attention quickly on the short form content, but I think you gain
much more
like fans of your shit on longer form content. And I think that's why a lot of these TikTokers and influencers, so your Saffron Barkers and your Charlie D'Amelios and your Addison Rays and that, all have done podcasts as well. They've all done these. I know that the money deal with Spotify and these bigger like Rabble and stuff like that are always going to be big money deals. But I think also from a fan collective standpoint, you gain followers through having viral videos, but you gain fans from showing personality. And I think that's a massive thing that you get in the social media scene. I think that's why podcast is so hard to get into, but once you get into it, you're stuck. Is because you become fans of their personality. Whereas like your Instagram, your TikTok and all that shit, I see people that I fucking love their content. No idea whether they're a bellend or not. Not a clue. I have no idea. Whereas now we've got fucking near 100 hours worth of content on online. People know we're bellends by now, and you either like
after
it or
100
don't.
hours you can't hide it. You know what I mean?
We just are who we are, and people either enjoy us or they don't. And I quite enjoy that. I think that side of it's really interesting to see, like the influencers trying to get the fans. Do you know what I mean? It's that like it's a weird demographic to try and grab.
I think that thing you said as well, it's like after 100 hours you kind of, they know what you're like and things. It's like it's much more transparent than as like the previous generation of TV. It's like we all really like Jimmy Savile until we found out actually what was happening. Same with like, and how that whole period of time was like full of it, and now it's just like, I think probably to a lesser just extreme that, but like with podcasts it's like if you're a cunt you can't hide it for that long. It's gonna at some point you're gonna slip up if you're faking it, you know what I mean? It's kind of like
100%. Even with like the whole YouTube thing of like people acting and putting on like these hyper energetic vlog type things and almost like acting during their videos and stuff, and then you see some of these same people come on podcasts and they're just so different because like you just can't physically maintain the character. I mean, some people manage to do it, but it's like it's hard work, and it's like people can guest on podcasts, but if you have one, it's like you can't physically think about it. Like we have just the whole time we've ever done it is we've just said what we want to say.
It's also editing. I think that's also a massive thing. Like when you're trying to make a 5-minute video or a 30-second TikTok. You can literally film for an hour and ram it into that really small amount of time, and you can pick the best bits, you can pick the funniest bits, you can pick a highlight reel of that video. Whereas you sit and get a podcast, to be able to clip it down to the same extremity, you're going to have to be recording for like 10 hours to be able to get it down. So like no one does that. People literally start, we talk, someone might say something a little bit dodgy and you go, do we take that out? And
Have you ever had to take anything out?
Not loads.
And now
not
you can put them into this podcast and
guests.
then double trade.
Not from guests.
No.
I'll say it's from us where I've definitely said some things where it's kind of slipped out. Not in it. No, that's now makes it sound like it's now not in.
We've never genuinely. We've never. There's always been stuff that anything we've taken out, we could have left in.
We could have left in. Yeah,
right.
We just would rather
how we came across.
In that, if that, because 9 times out of 10 they clipped in podcasts. You can clip up, and if it's taken out of context, it can be taken badly. So there was one that I made a joke about something a builder would say.
Right. And and they just take that section.
And if you could take that out, then like that's something I didn't like the idea of that being on the internet forever. So I took my section of that out of it, because even though it boded well with the guests, it was right in the context of the interview and how it was said and what was said with it. I didn't like the idea that I'd said something that, if taken out of context,
then it can become real awkward.
Can look like I'm saying something bad. Do you know what I mean? So like, apart from that type of like consciously going, that's close to the line, I could leave it in, but I'd rather not, even though it's something that I'd happily say in front of anybody, because I know it. Everyone knows the context and the joke and stuff. But when it's etched into a media format, it can become almost like, it's almost a little bit daunting too. Like when you release something online, you know that shit's there forever. Like
it is. Oh shit!
You
guys go home. No.
So like I never want to like look. I always comb through whatever we do, and I think this is the best quality we could put out at the time. So sometimes I might cut the odd little thing here and there out, or I think we've had one
even
person.
cutting of stuff of like flow of the podcast.
Yeah, make it sound nice.
You might cut that, or just where there's a little bit of tangent that didn't quite fit, and actually if you pull it, it flows a bit nicer. Like bits like that. But I mean,
did you find that more with the Zoom ones than with the in-person ones?
Yeah. We've scrapped 3 episodes.
Whole episodes. Oh my god. 3
full episodes that we've had to scrap.
Damn.
Yeah, for multiple things. We've had to completely get rid of them. So, I still have the files for 2 of them, but one of them we scrapped because it didn't record. Just so.
Yeah, so one we recorded, but we didn't record it. So that was scrapped because we physically didn't have the footage. And then we did one with the claws, which was...
I'm now getting self-conscious. I'm like,
really
just double check that's going through. Okay, good.
That's
going to be a beautiful close-up of my face now, being like, oh, he's all good? Okay, thank God.
And then the claws on the internet was just shite on it.
Yeah, that was
we interviewed them, and they were really good as well, but it was one of them where when you've sifted through it, there wasn't enough left, basically, that we just couldn't quite put it out. And then we have the secret lost episode 20. But,
are they going to be on the DVD extras in the future?
That's the one that's like...
That's the one we couldn't include anyway.
We basically had no idea of getting drunk and interviewing each other.
Right.
But
when we say...
we just overdid it.
I will explain. I feel like I've
Fair
told a
enough.
story on lots of things.
It was one of those things where it was like, this is hilarious, and you listen back and you're like, oh.
No, it got to a point where like, you get drunk.
Yeah.
And then you get blackout. And then you keep drinking.
Yeah.
And there's a point after.
Yeah.
There's no return. We both got to that point.
Oh my god.
By the end of the podcast, we had 4 hours worth of footage, and we were doing a. You ever watched Bambino Becky's Strong Ones?
No.
It's like hot ones are chicken.
Right. Oh, is it they drink
different
strong ones?
strengths?
Oh right, okay.
Well, we thought they were soft for doing like a small portion of each one, so we did a whole serving of each one, apart from the wine where we did half a bottle each, and all the shots were like triples, and we
did this all for a beer bong.
We beer bonged them all
in the studio.
My god!
So we were literally like did like 3 different strength beers, half a bottle of wine, loads of different types of shots and whatever, and like kept going through it, and then like felt okay, and then it just descended, and like some of the like footage from the end of it, like Elliot. The footage
This sounds
of
like
Elliot
the
trying
best
to
episode
outro
ever.
it. But the one thing I want, like, I think we should release at some point when we're like done, is you trying to outro it. And he's like falling, like proper swaying everywhere, and you were like,
I got down on one knee to do the last beer bong, which was a bit of everything, and Joe hadn't. So I'd already done it once, and Joe hadn't recorded me. Joe hadn't filmed it.
So you had to do it
saying
again.
it like it was my fault. I mean, I could hardly
Yeah.
see. And he's like, yeah, press that button.
I was like, just
like,
hold your thought. I'm beer bonging. You've tapped out. Just make sure you do this bit right. And I did it, and it wasn't filmed. So I was like, right, I'll fill it with water and I'll do it again.
Right. Okay. At least you had the sense to fill it with
camera-
water and not
camera
just be
trickery.
like, well, I
Yeah,
guess
no,
we're gonna
fuck
go
it.
again.
Camera trickery. Do you know what I mean? It can't be done. So we did that again. But by that point, everything that I drank before hit me. So another beer, another load of shots, another load of wine, all in one beer bong, all hit me at once. And I was down on one knee, like trying to outro, doing the last one, and I was like, I can't even say
what was
it.
it? He's literally like,
It's like, I've been you, you've been me. I fall over head first into the sofa.
Yeah.
Shit, you not stay there for like 10 seconds. It felt like a half a second. I was like, oh shit, fell over. Stand up, Elliot. Get up. And I've fallen over. I'm head first in the sofa like this, and it's 10 seconds on the footage. And I get back up and I go, I'll catch you on the other side. Peace. But in my head, I'm doing this all at
mate,
real
it's
time.
so
It's all in
funny.
slow motion.
Oh
I'm
my
fucked
God.
up. I'm like all over the gaff. Like
it's so funny. It's
that was
really
bad.
good.
That
But
was
that's
couldn't-
that's the lost episode.
There is the
Even.
worst part about that is when you throw up after the shots, and instead in my head I instead go, oh, you're alright, Joe. Let me stop the recording. I go, pull the mic
Move the
closer.
mic closer.
There is literally a thing of Joe going, and it hit in a bucket. It's the worst.
Why you thought that was good podcast?
I don't know
Serious.
why.
We literally went back. We were like,
I was
because even afterwards, it was like a week later. We were like, we'll edit it, and I was like, okay, yeah, the ending was messy, but I'm pretty sure when we sift
Yeah.
that through,
We
it'll
can
be
find
fine.
Be
20
something in
minutes
there.
that we
There's
could put
no-
out.
there was
Nothing we could
nothing.
use.
We spoke about all sorts of things and was like,
Everything from like mental health to like some
We
bits
got
which are
really
really
deep.
good. We got really
Yeah.
deep about like mental health and stuff to like I can't remember who I was slating. I ended up slating someone that I'm really glad that we never released. I shouldn't have slated.
it's
God.
bad, it's bad, but it's, yeah,
I hope you
that-
realise all the comments on everything at the moment are going to be like, release the episode, release the
Yeah, I
episode.
hope
You're going to get
so.
DMs,
I
you're going to
hope
get
so,
everything.
Yeah, go for it. DM us
Yeah.
'cause it's never fucking coming out. I'm never releasing that.
We'll take bids though. Like,
Yeah. Oh my god, you pay
short
me.
cash,
Everything has a price.
Oh my God.
Everything has a
I'll
price.
pay you for a Blu-ray edition of the episode.
Oh mate,
Yeah.
I'll edit it and I'll give you a little bit extra in at the end. I'll figure something out.
yes.
We can find something out that we
I can add it to my collection of Northampton Town treasures
just do like a,
of hidden lost artifacts that have happened throughout the years.
that'll be something that will one day have to come. It will have to be
It was
released,
funny.
Mhm.
but like years to come.
And we recorded a little award show for like 20 minutes instead, and we whacked that out, and it did quite well. And I was like, yeah, good.
Oh, it's
We'll
perfect.
do that next time.
Oh my God.
Funny, man.
That's
It was
amazing
class,
though.
man.
But like, do you guys drink normally on the podcast? Because like,
It
Depends.
depends, doesn't it? I mean, if we're, especially if we've had guests and it's like and it's like a Saturday and we've been able to do it, then like definitely. But we've done some, just the two of us at 11 a.m. We probably wouldn't. But
fair enough.
Drink,
fair
we
enough.
don't drink. To be fair, do we? I mean,
When we I think when we drink, we drink. Do you know what I mean? I know it
Yeah,
sounds like
yeah.
probably a weird sentence for like,
Especially
like,
after the last conversation.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean.
yeah. Like when we drink, I feel like we drink.
Yeah.
Like we
Hmm.
go out.
we've had the odd one where we've had a beer. I think like especially like series 1 days like when we were recording in the studio, we definitely had a couple
Yeah,
when we
yeah.
recorded. But yeah, not really. Especially the whole series 2 one. I mean, we were doing like 2 in a night on a work night, and it was like.
Fair
we were
enough. Yeah,
literally-
yeah.
We fucking
Keep
smashed them
up.
out like they were just efficient recording.
First two
Um,
weeks we did like fucking 8.
I think it's
so
more
stupid.
than that. We had like 12 of them done really quickly. Like we
Yeah.
were doing like Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, like 2 a day for like 2 weeks, and like belted like 12 out, and
Right.
then we were ahead of it. So the whole series 2 recordings, they were a bit more professional
Some would say.
style
Yeah, I guess so.
Zoom interviews. So we didn't then, but we had a couple of one of them in Birmingham, didn't we? And then probably will
Yeah.
do, especially like we're in
Mm.
Manchester, so the likelihood of us having a few beers during a couple of them are probably quite high. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I ain't
But I think you have got to watch it because it's only got to take a little bit of your judgment to go. Where like we will say anything anyway, but just the relevance and the timing of things and the
comedic timing,
even just the pronunciation of things. Like, no one wants to listen to someone who
can't talk,
is slurring their words a bit because it does happen.
Yeah.
And there's a few of them, and like where you can hear it towards the end. That Christmas one, I was drunk on that one.
Yeah, I know. Right? When I was editing it through, I can remember thinking, Joe's pissed.
And then like by the end, once you can tell, I was like, to be fair, that is not what you want to be listening to. Is people who are actually drunk. Like it's not really entertaining, but I think if you have
like drunk, I think like the middle ground.
That's what it's best. If you start drinking at the start of it, then there's only so drunk you can get in an hour and a half while recording a podcast, unless you're literally. I
found when I'm doing podcasts with like close friends, because it's like I have the freedom just to be like, whoever the fuck wants to come on. It's like my smart tactic for that is we'll start drinking at the start, and then that gives us an end point, because otherwise it'll be like, oh, it's a 5-hour episode. And I'm not editing it, so it goes.
You know when you hit a certain level of drunk after a couple of hours, you're like, okay, let's turn that off and then just carry on, basically. But
exactly. It's already that hard so no one knows the other person as well. As you guys can be like, they have podcasts too. You've already listened to them enough. Might have to convince them to listen to me on the side.
If you remotely enjoyed any of this, then listen to our podcast, because it's just this, basically. And then,
it is essentially just chatting shit.
Yeah.
But slightly more music related.
Ever
sometimes.
Slightly. Yeah, sometimes.
When you feel like
we're
it.
Kind of like we've gotten. When's this coming out?
So what are we today? Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, maybe.
Okay.
Because I used to literally, before I did the audio, I used to actually just take the memory card out the audio recorder, put it in my laptop, and just upload it.
Yeah.
And then I kept saying to people, the visual ones, like, I'll release it tomorrow, like I did with the old ones. And then I realised I had to do a little bit of other stuff, and it's like other stuff on top of that, and then it's like people are like, so you know that shoot you did for us last week? We haven't got the images yet. And it's like, I noticed you've released a podcast already. I'm like, I'm still doing everything.
Yeah.
But
no, that's cool. We're relaunching ours in a couple of weeks, and we've got a few announcements in the first episode or two. So it's just trying to work out what to say and what not to say.
Yeah, what to announce and what not to.
I mean, if you want me to hold it, because I've got. It's up to you. If you want to announce stuff on here.
Nah, just be vague.
Yeah, just be super vague.
Yeah. Vague's fun.
I have some vague announcements to make as well, so we'll do. Cool. We'll make it a section of the podcast, vague announcements. Will be my only segment ever.
Something new coming soon. Something.
Okay, slightly less vague than that. We might have some podcasts coming up that are going to be way more geared away from music and geared. Crazy frog.
Guys are getting the crazy frog on. Is that the secret message in there?
Who is that?
That would be a shite podcast. It'd be like until it would be fun. You'd just be like, we're hearing crazy frog. We've already ruined this podcast just by doing like 10 seconds. Imagine the whole thing being crazy frog. Fuck that.
Now no one's going to listen to the announcements.
Swedish House Mafia.
Yeah, no, not a crazy frog, but some more podcasts that are going to be geared slightly away from music and slightly more towards just chatting shit.
Yeah.
Perfect.
In some capacity, which will be interesting and definitely worth looking out for, because I think we're going to let ourselves loose even more so than we have done in on the Scratch Record podcast. So
yeah, it's just the ones we've recorded already are just rogue, off topic,
which is good, which is what people want, and I think it like we need to try and give ourselves some more freedom as well, because like we love all the music stuff, but then it's that idea of having music related people talking about other things and then other people talking about other things and seeing what happens. So
that's the point of the podcast, is freedom, isn't it? You can just you've got a couple of hours and you just go for
a few hours and just chat shit.
So this is like a sample episode of those ones.
Yeah,
it's like a little
actually,
drop it in as a little teaser.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. The last one we recorded, it's just like everyone's on fucking speed.
Yeah.
It's like, promise.
It's like.
Yeah,
big simile.
Big, yeah, like I can't stress this. No drugs, team. Not cool.
No one's going to go with this, because we have, like, on this podcast, constant running jokes like that. but kind of because everyone sort of knows everyone, so it's
Yeah.
like no one's gonna think you're joking.
Oh,
I hope people are gonna be like, smart guys know how to avoid the legal stuff.
Yeah,
and
no
then
drugs, man. We don't do none of that shit. Nothing around here.
No. That's what we keep saying on ours. That is again completely stolen, and we keep saying it. But we just say that everything we say on the podcast, only 75% of it's true.
Yeah.
And then legally that covers you. That even if you say you do drugs, you just be like, it's part of 25%. So
Yeah.
it's all for the image, mate.
might have been,
That's
might not
indie
be.
music.
You
It
don't
is
know.
for you. Maybe.
You know.
Potentially.
That's
Some
the
of it's
industry.
The whole time.
Some of it's true, some of it isn't. Deal with
Yeah,
it. You know?
it's a work of fiction.
It is.
It's all scripted
Storytelling. man.
from the top.
Yeah.
Scripted
Oh my
every single
god.
word.
Could you
Yeah.
imagine?
Yeah,
Fuck, that'd be hard.
That'd be funny, yeah. Like,
scripting a 3-hour podcast.
yeah, that'd be a funny like YouTube video though.
What,
Both
script?
write a script, but don't tell the other. Don't show.
Oh my god.
We have to just read lines to each other.
Back and forth.
But it's just completely unrelated. Write that
God.
down.
Yeah, I get that.
That's funny.
That's a good video.
Just like half an hour podcast, we both have each line, but we're not allowed to.
Just released without context as well, so people are like,
What the? They've lost the plot.
they've
Yeah.
edited 2 different podcasts together or something.
They've lost it. What has happened?
Probably roughly the vibe they get anyway. They'll just be like, "This is normal." That'll be worse when no one even mentions it. They're just like, "That's a good episode."
Yeah.
Shit.
That's the best one to call out fake fans though, because you could be like, "Did you see the last episode?" And they're like, "Yeah, I really liked it, man."
Yeah,
You're
it's
like,
good.
"Yeah,
You
did you?
idiots."
Fuck."
I was talking about sandcastles and he's talking about fucking ladders, and it just doesn't work.
I'll say what I was gonna say then. Why'd you say ladders? But I'm glad I
Looked up
know.
and just saw ladders.
You need to put a little face on it.
Because you've made him like a character of the show.
Yeah,
now.
it
is.
is.
Kind of.
It needs to be like Plank
Join him in.
from Ed, Ed and Eddie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
That's a good.
Ed.
I'm sure there's enough random bits of wood to make it.
Yeah.
That's my new project.
That is your new project.
You can work on a script. I'll
Yeah.
paint a little face on a
I'll
plank.
put that in YouTube ideas.
Yeah.
YouTube
That's
ideas.
Ideas.
Perfect. Part of the vague announcements.
Yeah, vague announcements.
Is there anything else you want to shout out, promote? Less vague, more vague?
The gig, definitely.
Oh, yeah, the gig.
Yeah,
The gig is definitely one to announce, because especially for your demographic, you're going to have all these amazing music Northampton people that will be interested in this. So we're promoting our first gig at the Black Prince in Northampton. It's on the 21st of August. Tickets are
Awesome.
available on our website, www.tsrp.co.uk. And it's going to be really fucking good. And again, a bit like how it's mentioned about the podcast, like we want to make gigs that we would want to go to. And so we've just decided to fucking put them on ourselves. So we've got Garden headlining, who are Northampton based and are really, really fucking good.
Grungy,
And
yeah.
They've been on your podcast as well, haven't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
So
we
go
did
check out
go-
that episode before you go, and
Definitely
then
get to know them. Cam, the lead singer, has been on. We've interviewed him, and then he came on our like Christmas special one as well. He went to the same school as us as well, so we are good mates with him. But they're,
Yeah.
they're
Nice.
genuinely doing a lot of really good stuff.
They're
And,
grungy, aren't they? They're like a
grungy, punkier kind of vibe. But they could do a bit of everything. They've
Yeah,
got a few
for
more
sure.
like acoustic type stuff as well, and they've just had a bit of a rebrand, haven't they? They like deleted all their stuff on Instagram. And they've kind of come back
all right.
with some live.
And Cam's got short hair.
recordings. Cam's got it's literally
Oh.
like you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel like me
long
and Cam will
hair.
get along.
And then they did a live video and all his hair's gone. Not all his.
A full-on
Short.
rebrand.
Yeah. And there it was. And but they've done like a proper rebrand, and they're gonna come out like all guns blazing, I think, because it's like their first big show
Nice.
since they've rebranded. So
Yeah.
they're really good. And then the Motive from
Yeah,
London, are
the motive will be
supporting.
class,
They're
man.
unreal, and they're another one that like they could sell out a big venue, especially in London. They've done a lot of London gigs, but they're just now branching out of London. So it's one of their first ones outside, and it's one of them that like go
Mate.
see them here now, because in a year's time they'll be doing like O2 academies in London, and
Yeah,
the
it'd be a
tickets will be
different thing.
25 quid.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
definitely see them. Rolling Thunder, them playing.
Oh my
who,
God,
as
the
we
boys.
mentioned,
Fucking
the
boys.
Their new song's
I
class.
love them.
We having had a little sneak peek at some of their unreleased stuff.
Yes.
They are going to get better and better. And some of the stuff.
Does it sound good?
Oh,
Oh
mate.
my god.
So
I mean, I said that like I had doubts, to be honest, but
Oh,
like,
Yeah, it sounds
you know
good.
it's gonna be
so
good shit.
They're so good.
And they know how to
they're
party
top
as well,
lads,
which
yeah.
is
Oh
good.
yeah, they're
They
the
know how to
They're
throw
top boys.
Oh, yeah.
throw a beer around, which I like.
Yeah.
And then opening
Definitely.
the stage, we've got Elliot Williams
Yeah.
with a bit more of like an acousticy type vibe. He's got
This
his
is one
covers.
hell of a lineup. Because when I saw the little thing, to be fair, we were at the garage, so I was a bit drunk. I only saw Garden and Rolling Thunder, but I didn't know you had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
whole
so Elliot Williams
gang
are
of people
opening
coming
up
in.
early doors. So like he's gonna come on pretty much from doors open at 7. There'll be someone playing, which is cool. Then Rolling Thunder, and then Motive, and then Garden. So it's gonna be like, it's almost like a mini Black Prince local music festival, but a big good band coming up from London as well. And it's literally student tickets are a £5, for fuck's sake. Like there's nothing at £5.50.
Wait, student tickets are a £5?
Student tickets are £5.50.
When is it again?
August 21st.
You know the students went home, right?
Yeah. Could be a student. You
True.
Could
have done what we've done and come back.
Very true.
And also, we just wanted to get into practice of doing student tickets.
Fair enough, yeah.
We probably won't even check it, so just buy one. It's fine.
Hey.
Don't say that on air.
No. I'd rather you bought a student one and didn't come.
Oh.
Yeah, fair point, actually. Yeah. And I'm sure if you'd messaged us, we can find some form of
student ID card for you to bring.
And also, I can find you a discount code.
I'll PayPal you £2. just come. I'm genuinely we want to just start.
We want to fill it out, man.
Party night, it's on the same day as a home game for Cobblers as well. So we want to kind of bring in all these sorts of vibes of there's football going on in Northampton, and there's this sort of big party local indie music thing going on in Northampton, and merge everything. It's going to be good fun.
So it's going to be fucking
get everyone partying with it and getting interested back in the music scene. I think after seeing it in Garibaldi, how excited everyone was to kind of be around indie music and stuff. I think
people are so ready for it.
So ready.
I'm glad you're bringing it together a little bit, because that's the other thing. Sometimes it's there's one band over here, and then but if they're all in one place at the same time, it just builds up. It's perfect.
Like any one of those artists or any other similar artists that we mentioned, you just will enjoy it. It's something it's just guaranteed to, and you can almost. I think the podcast stuff helps people almost trust our opinions, and if we've put them on our lineup. Not that what we say goes, but realistically you can kind of trust that.
Yeah, and this is part of the 75% truth, not the 25% lie.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, it's all about no money in it actually. No money in putting on gigs and making a podcast, really.
No, but yeah, it's gonna be we just have formulated a lineup that we would just be desperate to go see.
Yeah,
and I am excited to be there and watch them because it is gonna be a good night. So. That's the biggest thing on our radar at the moment, probably. But other than that,
a new series
of podcast
in
soon, a couple of weeks ish.
Yeah, depending on how many we record in Manchester next weekend.
Yeah, so but they're coming and it's different. We've upped the levels even more, so I think.
Yeah, it's different gravy,
man.
Back
in the person, some more virtual ones, some huge interviews. There'll be probably some more stuff, just us two. There'll be some way more sort of off the cuff stuff as well. There's everything. So.
And we also are doing YouTube videos now.
Videos. There's going to be consistent TikToks and Reels going up. We're going to be back really active on Twitter on there.
Yeah, you name it, we're probably going to be trying to do it in some way, shape or form.
Once we kick off again, we'll be everywhere. So even if you don't want to find us, we'll probably be in your face.
Yeah, you'll stumble across them again.
At some point. I'll give you a flyer
awesome.
somewhere, especially if you're out from around there.
Yeah.
We'll just ram it in your face.
Yeah.
Listen to the podcast. We've got a gig coming.
Yeah.
Join us.
Come watch our YouTube videos.
Yeah, watch our videos, man. Watch us just either getting pissed or really hungover, which essentially is all of the videos so far that are recorded.
Perfect. Perfect content.
Literally.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that sounds sick.
Man.
And then as well, on Friday, if this thing's not out yet, Are You Indie with TK or Anti performing, which
nice.
You guys gonna be there?
What
it's
dates
Friday. No, next Friday. Not this Friday, sorry.
Next Friday, yeah.
So 6th of August.
6th of August, yeah, we are. We're at Cover Sets.
We are seeing live music.
Deaf Institute.
Cover Sets at Deaf Institute.
Do they have any more booked in, do you know?
The Are You Indie ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another one, I think, but that's September time, which I think might be finally getting around to the Flake 99 one. Or it might be someone else, I'm not sure. Because literally the one next Friday was meant to be that one all that time ago, and then it's been turned into the sit down one, then this one, and then so it's been sort of moved around. But it seems like after last Friday there probably will be a lot more.
I hope so, man. I hope so, because I'm there. I'll be there every week. If that happens, if they literally did that every week, I'm there, and I'll put
100%.
50 quid to 100 quid behind the bar in Guinness. Do you know what I mean? That's why I looked at my bank account. What a fucking deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Looked at my account and I was like, whoa, Nelly, how did we do that? What happened there?
Oh my god.
And I love it in there. And they got a good tequila menu.
tequila, man.
Do they?
They've got 7 different
okay.
tequilas. And
Oh my god, that's dangerous.
Me and one of our other mates really like it. So then whenever it's us two and like you and someone else, we just drag into it because we just like decide that's what the table are doing. And we were like, oh well, we didn't know which one to get, so we were like, well, we'll just start at the top and then we'll just keep buying them until we've gone through them all. And then it got into the point of like we'd order them and they'd bring them over, and as they left, we'd like, can we have 3 of the next one as well, and then do them, and then they'd bring them back over, and we were like, we went through all of them, and we ate, and we were drinking other things, and then we moved on to doing shots of Ray and Nephews, which is like 65%.
That's strong.
Did shots of that, and that was like, there was only 4 of us in the bill care. We'd literally spent like £100 each, and we were like, oh my god.
Yeah, we put like £400 behind the bar and go.
Oh my god,
it was horrendous.
So I was like, they're gonna be really annoyed bringing all these drinks over and stuff. And then I was left. I was like, actually, I don't think.
I think they're gonna be really happy.
These fucking idiots. Send the more tequila. Like,
oh my god.
Yeah, no, it's really good in there.
It's good fun, man.
If we weren't in Manchester, we probably would be there definitely.
Yeah.
But we will be going forward and trying to get ourselves more into the local scene as well, and just putting our faces about.
Yeah, I mean, there's from my calendar already, there is fucking some nuts shit planned for the next, probably till like I've got stuff from now till October that I know about that I'm not sure.
Sick.
I would open up my calendar and read it out for everyone to hear, but also I feel like people might be like, can you not give away all that insider information?
The
Sherlock's one.
The Black Prince.
I can't remember.
Isn't that
It's like
fairly
October,
soon?
November, December.
Cheers, Joe. Name
Sometime.
half the month.
Some point in the next.
Cheers, UFO. Yeah, that's a sick gig to be happening in Northampton.
Yeah,
That's another good one to put us on the map a bit, I think.
yeah, definitely.
I can't wait, man, for it all just to now. Everyone's getting back in the swing of it. That was literally the first week out. It was such good vibes as well. I enjoyed that, man.
It was happy in there, wasn't it? It was happy in there.
Good
It was
vibes.
so good. And I still haven't had anyone be like, hi guys, I got COVID. So I think,
No, perfect.
you know, that's it, guys. COVID's over. It was a myth. We're all good. Let's keep going.
I am blown away. I managed to go to Silverstone the weekend before, and I went out and literally into MB's last weekend. And touch wood, haven't managed to catch
It's not
Yeah.
COVID I'm worried about in MBs,
No,
actually.
oh god, no.
Yeah,
It's
there's
still
multiple
probably
other
there,
things.
definitely, so.
Yeah, it's the other diseases that you
Yeah.
Floating around in your drink.
feral children that
Hopefully the children, you know what I mean?
oh, mate, they're all 18, they're all children. Feral place.
Oh my god.
Is that a somber note to end on?
A perfect note to end on.
Yeah.
A feral place.
The feral place
Yeah.
MBs is. Don't go, come to the Gary Bowl
God.
instead. It's more fun.
God. Speaking of feral, I'm gonna badger someone hyper specifically and send them the link to it afterwards. He's editing a skate video called Feral. I was talking to my friend today. When's it gonna come out? We've been waiting since we were 13.
Sounds like
no way.
there's a reference there somewhere to
To Zerka's video.
Yeah, to the-
he's
to
been
the
editing
clip.
part 2 to like a sniper compilation since like 2011.
Oh my god.
All the time I still like reference it like, when's it coming out?
When's it coming?
And he's like, yeah, still working on it, boys. Don't worry. 11 years now.
Jesus
Like,
Christ.
it's coming. It's
Still
coming.
working on it.
Yeah.
God.
Are you big into skate stuff then?
Yeah, I grew up skating. Skating basically led to everything else. So it led to photography and music and stuff because it's like just, I don't know. It's an art of freaks. So it
Yeah.
naturally, you get to the age where it's like, oh, now we're allowed in pubs and stuff. Let's find the freaks there who
Yeah.
somehow ended up here without a skateboard.
Best
But
people, man.
yeah.
How did you end up doing a podcast? I feel like I'm flipping the books a bit.
Yeah, no, I'm being
Oh,
into this.
come
This is the
on.
part 2 where it's reverse round. Because I don't. How did I get into it? Well, I've been a big fan of podcasts anyway, and then I was just sort of. I think I was just bored.
Yeah.
No, but also it was like because I was kind of a photographer as well, and then it was like, to be honest, unexpectedly, it's really helped with that because there's like people who I couldn't necessarily be like, hey, do you want to do a photo shoot? Because mainly I wanted to talk to like, I was already doing photo shoots with like bands and stuff, and it's like, oh, hanging out with you guys is fun. Let's record it and fucking let everyone else hear it as well.
Yeah.
And then also just like other photographers, it's like, I can't be like, hey, do you want to do a photo shoot? You know what I mean? So podcast, it's like, let's get your philosophy out or whatever.
Yeah.
And then just from that, it was like, well, there's other interesting people in the town. It's like just through skating and music and photography, just meeting interesting people and being like, why getting out, and plus I like podcasts as well, so that's where. And then, yeah, just got to lockdown. It got to that bit where it's just like, well, I'm not doing anything else. Let's fucking do it, yeah. And then sort of that third lockdown happened because I did it in between the lockdown, so you could get people in and just do it and stuff. And people after that first one were really keen just to be like, yeah, let's do something and then just talk. And then here we are today with a camera. There's 3 microphones now rather than a little box in the middle.
It's mad, isn't it?
Cool.
But yeah,
it's crazy how things like progress so quickly like that. Like it goes from being just like 1 microphone and a Zoom call to like 3 microphones, a camera,
garage,
an actual space to record and stuff.
Yeah, it's wild. And just like, I don't know, it's been hella good for marketing, I have to be honest. Because it's like, it's probably different for you with it being like your main thing, as for me it's like the second thing that I do like off the side and just to keep me occupied and stuff. But it's like definitely helped because like,
oh mate, that's like what we've said. If like the podcast ended now and we delete it all and whatever and we stopped, like the contacts and like like friends we've made, that these are people that we never have ever been in contact with before, but now we know people that you just never get a chance to. And we can go to the Coversets gig next week and we can message them like, do you want to have a pint, record a podcast before? And like, they're people who I listened to way before the podcast, and I'd buy tickets to see them because I'm a fan, and now it's like, oh, we can just message them. And if that's like the one thing that comes out of it is contacts and marketing of ourselves and just getting yourselves out there a bit, then that's like, as a bare minimum, that's really fucking cool.
And it's growing mates as well. That's what I've enjoyed the most about like actually like getting to a point where, you know, Rolling Thunder literally only have ever even heard of them through the podcast, through us doing our own research and shit like that, and you know, them coming forward with tracks and stuff like that. And
well, I met them through the podcast as well because they listened to one I did with another band and they were like, oh, who the fuck's this guy? He seems cool or whatever. And then they're like, oh, he does photos. And then called me up and like, come do a photo shoot for us. It's like, yeah, cool. And then we did that. And then they do their one as well.
Really
so
we were saying like, we might have
here we go.
to just follow us round at every night out we go on, because having photos from that night that are actually like high quality,
usable,
you've captured moments.
Thank God. I was worried towards the end of the night where I was just like pressing the button. I was like, oh no.
Not to like downplay it, but like the amount of photos we come back with like nights out and gigs and shit, like, and we look and we go, well, the lighting shit, the angles wank, the not focused. You can't use that. We can't use that for anything. Whereas like some of the stuff you've taken, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and like that one that we used where you'd captured moments, and there's one that we posted for our playlist update for this week, and we were having a conversation. You've literally captured it like a normal picture, and we're sort of in the background, like zoomed in, and we're talking. Then it's pulling this face that he pulls all the fucking time.
Like this whole
like thing. And I know he does it, but I've never seen it captured before. And I'm drinking, I'm not smoking.
Perfect.
We're talking about something. I don't know what.
I had no idea.
But I've said something. You've made a comment back and gone, and made a face, and I'm like, I can almost put myself back in that conversation by seeing that photo, and I think that's like, as a photographer, that's like.
Oh, that makes me so happy to hear that I've caught something that you've picked up in him as well.
And like you took a photo of like a big group of people, and like amazing, but like that's obviously not. I imagine the same for you. Like if you get a group of people together and take a picture, that's amazing. But like, kind of it's more. Not. I don't actually think you took it because I think you're in it. So I don't.
Is that the one where you're?
Charlie's in it.
Charlie took. Is that the one where you're at the sides and then I'm in the middle and everyone else? Yeah, because
I don't even think it was you, but that's what I always meant. There's in like anyone can kind of take it. Having sort of capturing an actual moment of the night. That's something that's like really hard to do well, and then hold the quality of it as well, and not just be taking pictures of me like. Actually, you know, capturing kind of pictures of me. That photo is sick. I like saw it and I was like, we've never had a photo like that. That's like
never had a photo like that. Capture that.
Funny as fuck, man. It's so good.
Funny. And the one that you put on about you put on your story or something about like we know how to party or some shit.
Oh, where you're in the middle like dancing.
Just fucking loving life. And I like looked at that and I was like, man, that's how I felt as well. That's how I felt. It's how I looked, man. Like I'm glad I looked like I enjoyed myself.
I'm glad people enjoyed the images because like sometimes. It's kind of that thing, you go to a gig, you take loads of photos, and it's like, no one gives a shit. Like, you know what I mean? That night actually felt fucking surreal because people were actually coming up to me and being like, well, like your photos, take a picture. It's like, normally, like, I, like, previously when I've been doing events before the pandemic, I think it's partly because of, like, the podcast as well, and, like, just building up a little bit. But it's like previously, it's like I go to events, I take photographs, and don't talk to anyone. You just kind of like lurk around, and you're like, can I get a picture? But people will be like, oh, give me a picture of me and stuff. And then, I mean, there was Charlie as well, who like was one of them. But people were like being like, can I get a picture with you? And it's like, why the fuck do you want that? But okay. Yeah. And then Charlie kept being like, can I take a picture? And then that's when that massive group one happened. And then he took like 10 minutes because he turned the camera off somehow.
I would be shitting myself as that kid having had as much as stood on a fucking chair holding my camera. I'd have been like, yeah, no, it's not.
I was trying to like bash my way through to people to be like, let me help him, but people just weren't moving. Like, because I tried to push someone out of the way and they just looked at me and gave me this like dirty look, and I'm like, no, I need to.
Clearly, my camera.
Yeah, I was like trying to save someone.
It's cool, and it's so good for you as well because like. As you say, we know you kind of through the podcast because we've spoken about coming on before, and that's why we kind of follow each other and stuff like that. But like, if we hadn't, and even if you'd have posted that picture, I wouldn't have thought to ask for more, and then get them, and then we post that, and obviously like credit you as a photographer on it, and then same with like, oh, you indie reposted all your images and can credit you, and maybe fund you, and all of a sudden of that night, you've had like 4 or 5 different pages, all then use images and credit you for it, and it's like. Oh, sick.
Yeah, exactly.
Before you take them and you keep them, and it's great, but it's
like, or maybe the main page you threw the party would use them, but like you never actually got to like that was the one of the few times where you've been you get to like interact with people properly, and it's like, mate. And that's how I've been like. You try and do it sometimes, but it's like if the party's not wild enough, you can't just insert yourself into a group. But through just like the podcast and stuff, you get to. No, it's like I know at that party like half the people there I knew through music or some way anyway, so it's like, oh, I can get much better pictures of everyone just because they're not dancing and then suddenly and then they're going like, you know what I mean, it's like
and I think also it helps that like we all kind of will use it, like we all need it, we all need the content, like we're always literally we have people that come away with us that are a photographer and cameraman that like literally comes for like weekends away with us, like and takes photos throughout the day and the evening and whatever, and it's like because we need the content. So like when we see you doing it, someone we spoke to as well, and like and finally fucking meeting you the first time was fucking too surprised. Well, that's what you looked like, and then you opened the door and you didn't look like that. I'm still not over that. Fuck with my head, but like it's it was something that I was like, this is fucking brilliant. Like. Get the fucking camera going. There's gonna be some moments in this night, and especially the type of night it was, man. Like, it's the way to go.
It was perfect, basically. But
it was perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll back to the vague news section and slightly tie it in with what you said, because if you need not necessarily a cameraman to follow you about all day and night, but if you need photos in a actual photography place, that's the vague part. Studio. There might be a new one opening next month in Town Centre, and I may or may not own it. Just to keep it slightly not too vague.
It wasn't vague,
but yeah,
no. You're opening a studio. That's fucking wild.
But basically, So there's a studio opening. There's 3 of us who are main members, and then we've kind of gone round to all the best photographers and videographers in Northampton, just kind of like joined them on as like affiliates, so you can work with them through us as well, and work and get someone who's working in like 6 styles and stuff like that. And we do all sorts of stuff, but I can't really say too much at the moment.
But that's cool as fuck. We will
definitely.
But
yes, we're in need. There's a few things we do need that are like not like headshots, but like we need some shit.
Yeah.
Nah, definitely, and we're always like. Coming up, as I say, we'll have new merch, we have new things, and we'll have new podcasts that we need just pictures for. So we'll 100% hit you up for stuff like that.
But yeah, that's the vague news.
That's exciting.
But so that's gonna be the next thing. See how excited these guys are?
I'm fucking buzzed about that. That's
fun. But
for an actual something for like. I have a little pet peeve with some of these photography places that are like family photography places, right?
Yeah, we went totally opposite direction.
All my blonde hair. Oh no.
You're losing it, mate. Very stressful couple of hours. No, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, we can't like go in and be like, right, this is our idea. We took some t-shirts. You know, you're gonna go in. You're gonna it's gonna cost you like a few £100 for like a couple of hours.
And
no
they
clue
used,
of us like.
and they
Yeah.
used to take in pictures of someone like a baby like that, or like, do you know what I mean, or like holding a pregnancy bump.
Yeah,
like,
the stuff that's like your phone pictures are better than that. Come on now, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's so sick that you're gonna like, as a seeing your photography as like being someone who really captures moments.
Yeah.
Really, I don't know. It's just that's just fucking cool.
Yeah, our one's gonna be like the aim was because like when we first came up with the idea, it was kind of going in that direction. Then the last couple of weeks, as it's like now we've got a space which will be opening. We rebranded it, so we're in the process of rebranding it, and we've gone totally opposite direction just to be like, why are we essentially, not to bring back the term, but selling out? And why are we fucking around with that? Let's just do keep doing what we're doing and build it and just help out all the other people who we think are doing rad things. So that's the idea. But
I've talked to some of my fashion friends as well that are into
the two other guys are fashion photographers.
Yeah, I'll
So
message we'll talk to
they'd be interested.
Sophie, who does Hendy's label. Shout out to her stuff. She does a handbag made out of jeans, which is like a local brand, which is really sick.
She's really good.
And then Maddie Seams as well, who she literally lives down the road from me, but I've known her for fucking years. And she makes handmade.
Is that what called? Maddie Seams.
Maddie Seams, yeah. Her name's Maddie Seamark, but her thing's called Maddie Seams.
That's it.
And she's done loads of like, it's like the ruffled skin tight, like I don't know fucking how you describe it. Describe it fucking awful.
There's like three guys trying to describe fashion.
It's like a ruffled top that's normally cropped, and she does like matching skirts, and they're multicolours, and they're like look
like Tudors.
Not that ruffled. They're stitched on the outside. Insert picture here.
Look at it.
Insert one. Perfect.
Because I know you've got to edit it. No, like Maddie Seams, go check her out because she did some stuff with one of the women that was in a Dizzy Rascal video, and she's actually the lead singer. And I wish I knew her name. Mabel, maybe. Anyway, she's done a load of fashion shit. But I'll talk to her as well about it as well, because they'll definitely be looking for photography stuff for their brands, because that's fucking wild. I'll have a nose. I'll have a shout about.
When it opens, come in and have a look at it and stuff. Just fucking come in, have a coffee or whatever. Just have a look at it. But yeah, so I'll release. Do I release the name? This will be the first public outing of the name. Oh, now I have to. Yeah, good drum roll going. But yeah, so it's gonna be Photo Mafia Studios. Yeah, but yeah, and then.
Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, and then well,
that's
now people know. But it's gonna be essentially we're taking over. Like that's the goal. That's where it's going.
Number one photography studio in the fucking country.
Yeah, with the number one music podcast as well.
What a collab.
Yeah, the two number ones.
Unreal, man.
On this podcast.
That's how you've got to it. I like it. You will be.
But yeah.
You do a sick job of that, man. It'll be well.
Absolutely, that's class, man.
Yeah,
that's so
exciting.
Cool. So cool.
That's what we're talking about, though. Like, you've probably had this idea, and there's probably some people that have that idea, but fucking doing it.
Do it, man.
You're literally. Someone said like you're ahead of 99% of people by just doing it.
Like Gary Vee,
a little bit.
Yeah, but it's right, though. I think but that is true, because so many people will fucking talk about it, but there's not that do it, and you're already ahead of most, so do it right now and you're flying.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like, just finish uni, what got to lose? It's like,
might as well, man.
Might as well go wrong now rather than sit and wait. But yeah.
I respect it.
No, that's cool.
I respect it. That's going to be mega.
Yeah, keep the loop with it and we'll be there.
Yeah, we'll do, man. Of course.
Defo.
Is there anything else? Unless you guys are planning on committing to opening a venue right now and announcing that as well.
Fuck, I wish I had the money for that, man.
Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah, what do you want to know? What is
Gigging podcast, that's main.
Yeah.
Fun
facts. Gigging podcast. Fun facts.
I have got a thought that I was speaking to Trey about the other day. You know, like birds, like pigeons.
Yeah.
So obviously they get.
How long have we gone for?
I'm quick.
Okay. Hit the 3 hour mark and then he brings out the pigeon facts.
Right, no, I'll be quick. Right, so you know that pigeons, right? They 99% of their food comes from the floor.
Right.
Crumbs, drops.
Is this a new diet you're suggesting?
No. So during the pandemic, when no one was out and about and all pubs and restaurants and things were shut,
right?
do you think loads of them started there? Because there wasn't any food on the
Just
floor.
no chips.
The one that's lost the plot on the podcast.
There's no food on the floor. Listen, think about it though. That's where all their food comes. It's gone. No one's wandering the streets, dropping crumbs, dropping bits of sandwiches, dropping chips on the floor. There isn't anything. Do you think loads of them died? And if so, where's all the dead pigeons?
And this is Joe announcing the Save the Pigeon charity.
Genuinely, I don't know why people aren't speaking about it. There was no food.
Have
for
you
them for
you seen these
year.
dead pigeons?
No.
Where are they going?
Where are they?
What
all?
happened?
They
People
have
still
no
throw
food.
bins out, like rubbish
They
out.
don't go through bins. They're not foxes.
Yeah, they don't. Their wings aren't that
They
strong.
can't. They can't. Open the bin, can they? They
Yeah,
eat chips
flap
and
it
shit
open.
off the floor. There isn't any.
That's a good point. I think
Thank
we need
you. I'll
to.
leave people that think about the pigeons because
Yeah,
something's going
some
on
food
there.
for thought.
They're
No
right
pun
there.
intended.
That was poor, man. That was poor.
We've hit that level already.
Man.
Just saying,
God.
they've either got food elsewhere or they're all dead. So someone needs to look into it.
There's no more pigeons.
Someone just needs to find me an answer.
Should we have a
Come back to me.
Google?
You can't
Like-
even-
Yeah,
I just
let's all
want-
sit in silent while Elliot
Yeah,
Googles
I'll-
it. That's the
I'll-
perfect.
No, I just want people to sort of comment and get in touch if anyone knows anything to do with that.
Any info about pigeons?
Yeah, anything to
Yeah.
do with maybe another source of food that they have, or the fact that they're all fucking dead.
Populations of pigeons in the UK.
Sorry, we've ruined it.
No, this is good
This
shit.
is what to expect from our vague announcement.
Yeah,
Less
this is
music, more
perfect.
pigeons. That should be the tagline.
The more
More pigeons.
How the
Slap
fuck
that
are
on
we
a
meant to
t-shirt.
market that? How are we
You
meant to-
don't. It markets itself.
No, it
Yeah.
doesn't.
People
How-
go, what the fuck? I'll listen
It's
to that."
podcast. It's like you ease them in with the music. That's the soft drugs of podcast. And then when they're embedded,
Heroin.
that's the heroin
Yeah.
stuff.
Keep you
Starving
hooked.
pigeons.
Yeah.
That's what people really need to get involved in.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah,
How many pigeons in the UK 2020?
Yeah, compared to
Population.
2021.
Yeah,
Mm.
alright. I've got to find
Yeah,
2020.
he's
I
actually
get-
got like an academic report.
Imagine being the type of person that writes an academic report about pigeons.
God.
It might be me. I might. If
You
someone
wrote
wants-
it during that drunken episode.
If someone wants to sponsor me to do a master's on dead pigeons for the pandemic, then I'll do it.
Oh my
'cause
God.
I'm blown away by this thought. We were talking. And
I'm gonna
he was
talk
Trey
to
was
the-
That's a fucking brilliant point.
I thought Trey might. That's something that Trey would say.
Yeah, no, I said it. And he was like, "Yeah, you're right. I'm like, I know."
Let's get we'll get you back and we'll get Trey on, and then it'll be like I'll moderate the debate about the
full pigeon
pigeons.
podcast.
Yeah. Full pigeon podcast. Oh god.
Why is this not right? I've got a fucking query with you, bto.org, right? Why is it not an alphabetical order?
What is it? What is it
Species. Why is it not an alphabetical order? Why have I got a?
Is it an
a
order of
magpie,
numbers?
Followed by a cho, followed by a jackdaw, followed by a rook.
Oh, it's just not on.
Makes no fucking sense.
It's a different types of pigeon as well.
Oh, I hope.
Oh god. Didn't account for that. There's gonna
Well,
be
just
90
something-
Google
You'll have to
searches.
come back to us on this. This
Yeah.
is intense stuff.
Come back for
I
the
just
part
wanted
two.
to leave everyone, you know,
Tense.
we obviously we don't have any more announcements, but I just
Oh
want to
my
leave people with
God.
something
God.
that the pigeons.
Some educational
Yeah.
for their day, you know, after we've wasted.
If not, we should be doing like
Yeah.
a Thursday night clap for all the dead pigeons. Like no one's fucking
Yeah.
talking about it, man.
God. People need to start leaving food out for them to make up for the
Thank you.
previous year,
If
yeah.
you've got any crumbs, then just put them, walk out to the streets and sprinkle.
So yeah.